dynamic fighter in MMA.
Page, just lethal!
England's own Michael Venom Page looks to strike in front of his hometown crowd. But four-time All-American wrestler Logan Storley
Incredible stuff!
continues to prove doubters wrong.
Wow!
The interim welterweight title is on the line.
Here comes the beat!
Bellator MMA, Page vs. Storley, today on Showtime.
Bellator is back in the beautiful and brilliant city of London, England. This is one of Europe's great sightseeing cities, and it's also a real fight town. We're in the northwest of London at the OVO Arena in Wembley, where the crowd's already streaming in on a night that promises to be hugely dramatic. In our main event, Michael Venom Page tries to become Bellator's interim welterweight world champion. He takes on the high-class American wrestler Logan Storley. And it promises to be a massive fight as MVP tries to make his mark. Phenomenal striker, brilliant wrestler. Elsewhere on the main card, we have the legendary Lyoto Machida in a tough fight against Fabian Edwards. Could be defining for both men. Denise Kielholtz and Kana Watanabe look to get into position for a shot at the flyweight title. The mighty Paul Daly, a legend of this country in MMA, bids an emotional farewell to the sport. And we've got a barn burner to kick us off. Luke Traynor and Simon Biong promise fabulous fireworks. First, though, it's the strawweights, Lanciano Green against the Italian they call Beastie Barbie, Chiara Penko.
Chiara Penko, very aggressive fighter. She is into this as far as the submission game. She is nasty. She goes after it. She does not let go. You can see her with the arm bar here, all over it. Keeps working the position and finally gets the tap out. Very good ground fighter against the girl that comes from a stand-up position in Lanciano Green.
The tail of the tape for this strawweight match between Chiara Penko and Lanciano Green.
Both of them making weight. The real purpose of the 115 is 115, but a lot of power in both these ladies when they get aggressive.
High time we got to the cage for the first time this evening to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OVO Arena Wembley as Bellator MMA returns to London, England for Bellator 281, where the prelims get set to begin now. And we'll kick it off inside the cage with 3 5-minute rounds in the strawweight division. Introducing first, the blue corner. At 5'5", weighing in 115 pounds even, her professional record, 4 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. From Darlington, England, Lanciano Green. And across the cage, her adversary out of the red corner. At 5'5", weighing in 115.2 pounds as a professional. 6 victories, 3 defeats. From Livorno, Italy, presenting Chiara Beastie Barbie Penko. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Jaron Villel.
Fighter, fight! So Lanciano Green in her Bellator debut here in the blue gloves against Chiara Penko, the fighter who calls herself Beastie Barbie because of the damage she hopes to inflict. She's from Livorno in Italy, the home of Italian anarchy, and she hopes to create some of that in the cage here. Early outside leg kick from her to see early on who can establish dominance.
That was a lot of power on that. You saw that actually took the balance away from LaShawna Green. So already going after it, putting some sting on it.
LaShawna Green knows what a big chance this is for her against a more established Bellator fighter. 2-1 in the Bellator cage, Kiara Penko. Green just falling a little short with that jab. Been working really hard on a ground game. LaShawna Green, she said she never had one.
Well, she's being honest, she didn't have one. She actually went to the Ultimate Fighter with no pro fights, but she was good in the stand-up. And because she was exciting there, they put her into it. The big problem was a little too aggressive, a little overzealous, and ended up being put on the ground many times and couldn't get herself out. Now she's worked on that ground game, and we're going to see if she can keep herself out of trouble, because Penko definitely has a ground attack.
Penko's already thrown a couple of useful shots and another useful kick. Really good right hand, a stiff one early on, and she looks for the left hook there.
That was a clean right hand over that hook that landed for Green. Beautiful counter strike.
LaShawna Green's been talking about how much she loves the whole fight process, the preparation, the journey, the excitement, but now it's business time. Closing the gap there was Penko. Right hook from her.
Both ladies landed that right hand. Beautiful left hook over the top by Penko.
Just get the feeling in these early exchanges that Green is feeling Penko's power a little bit here.
I think you're right. I think she's actually been stung a little bit. She's landed a couple of good kicks, and she's also landed that left hook over the top multiple times. So LaShawna's going to have to figure out how to stop what is working right now for Penko.
Been working on the southpaw stance, and she just switched momentarily there. There's another really reddening kick from Kiara Penko.
And she hit that kick right as she was switching stance, right on that same left leg. You can already see the left leg starting to get marked up by the kicks of Penko.
Problem with switching stance, if you don't do it smoothly enough, you can end up very, very square and vulnerable to all sorts, and that was the case there. And right hand again there from Kiara Penko. Led with a left uppercut there as she came in, the Italian. She says she fights for her city, Kiara Penko, and all there who believe in her, and it's a very tight-knit community in Livorno. It's a beautiful place in Tuscany by the sea.
Really like what I'm seeing out of Penko at times. You see that she's just touching at times, but every now and then she sets her feet and she's really throwing with some smoke on it. So she knows I don't want to throw hard in every shot, but when she decides to go, she's going.
Credit to Green, though. She is at the moment just withstanding this. You just wonder how much that power is going to start to wear her down. The right hand there from Penko. She's not missing too often with that shot.
Clean jab. But LaShawna Green's actually doing a better job as far as managing the distance. You see her as Penko's coming forward. She's circling out, and yeah, she's getting touched, but she's taking those at the end of the shot so it doesn't have as much steam on it.
Landed a couple of kicks of her own here, LaShawna Green. Massive inside leg kick from Penko. Just continues that theme. We've already talked about it, but feels like Penko is the one doing damage.
Penko's the one landing the heavier shots. There's no doubt about it. You take a look at what's happening here. That was a beautiful knee.
Needs to be a little bit careful. LaShawna Green here. Is she just starting to tire a bit at the end of this opening round? Just looking maybe a little bit more vulnerable. Took again there from Penko. Didn't land clean. Feels like a good opening round that from Kiara Penko. That's the scene at OVO Arena in Wembley, already starting to fill up. So much excitement around our prelims, but also our main card as well. Massimo Rizzoli in the Chiara Penko corner.
Take a look at this hard inside leg kick right there. That was well done by Penko. You see Green sit back, brings the left hook over the top. Every time Penko decided to lay some heavy leather on
Seconds out, let's go.
Green, she was able to do so. That was a nice round.
Fists. Your hands are reaching out. Fingers in, okay? Close fists. Seconds out. Let's go. Here we go. Fight.
Referee just staying on top of things, telling Lanchina Green to make sure she throws her punches with closed fists. I know someone will appreciate a referee staying in control of things.
That's the way it's supposed to be done.
And that jab from Chiara Penko, followed by a long left hook, and straight away back into the rhythm of those leg kicks.
You can see that Lanchina Green's come out with a little bit more intensity. She's come out a little bit faster. She's trying to go after Penko. Penko just picking her shots, looking for the counters.
So far, Chiara Penko's judgment of distance has been really impressive, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's the big difference in this fight right here, just right there. And she's not what we call raw dogging anything. It's not like she's just throwing out kicks. She hides the kicks behind the hands. That's exactly the way you want to see it, because when you're having someone that's attacking you with your hands, where your hand's going to go? They're going to go up, and they're actually going to start to block your vision. That's when that leg kick lands, and lands with power.
Hook there from Green. That's her best punch of the fight.
That was a nice shot by Green.
Just keeps Penko interested here.
She keeps on trying to lead Penko off to her power side. Penko is not falling for it. She keeps on circling off towards her right most of the time, which is making Green follow.
Kicks from Green, one to body and one to leg, just not having the impact that Penko's more measured work is.
Penko missed there, and Green landed a beautiful body shot.
Both purple belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, these two. Both constantly working at the sport, trying to get better everywhere. Yeah, the voice of Martin Wilby, who Lanchina Green's partner of 14 years, as well as her coach. Encourages to be meaner in the cage. That's where the nickname comes from. You have to be pretty mean here as we go past the halfway point. Two left hooks there from Chiara Penko.
Absolutely right. That left hook has found its home, and she keeps on going back to the well. And she's going to continue to do that until Green figures out a way to stop it.
An impressive stand-up so far from Chiara Penko. Has got one win. A knockout and 5 via submission. She looks a assured striker so far here.
Yeah, for someone that I've watched multiple times take her opponent to the ground, she has not tried once. And when she's gotten into a clinch situation, she's used it to exit with a strike. So she's happy in the stand-up right now. She's feeling good. She likes what she's doing. I don't think she's going to be looking for that takedown anytime soon.
Well, why would you when you're winning the fight here? All the problems faced by Lanchina Green. Oh, right hand, super shot from Penko. She goes for the finish. Now tries to get that dominant position, Chiara Penko.
Nice job by Penko, already working to pass guard. Down to half guard. You can see swelling at the right eye of Lanchana Green. She's got problems now as far as some of the damage is starting to take effect. That was a great shot that put her down. Wow.
40 seconds remaining.
To see Chiara Penko actually say, no, I want you back on your feet, really shows her progression as a mixed martial artist.
I wonder if she feels she might be one shot away here, if she feels that Green is just fading.
You know, I would have said it was a great idea right at the moment that she put her down, but once you decided to go down there for a while, you know what? Just stay on top, do damage from that point.
To Green's credit, she did very well to hang on in that bottom position. Oh. Left hook, though, from Penko.
Beautiful left hook again. And you're absolutely right. Green did a great job. She lost her guard, but ended up getting in a position where she was controlling the wrist. Great job.
You're gonna need a dock. Mike, dock for red corner.
Referee has called for the doctor here.
We're just gonna let her have time with her corner. Yeah. We're gonna see how she's doing. Okay, Doc? No worries. Okay. Let her have her time with the corner. I'll come back to you.
Take a look again at that shot that dropped Lanchana.
Yeah, this was a beautiful right hand. Watch this, right on the jawline.
On the left side from a legal blow.
That's going to knock a lot of people off their feet. That was a solid, heavy blow coming forward. Beautiful left hand to set it up, splits the guard. Right hand comes right on target. Lanchana Green goes back, but now you can see that when she goes back, she braces her fall, which is telling people, hey, she's still okay. But right there is a beautiful left hook again at the end of the round. Great fight between these two ladies, but in my opinion, Lanchana Green's got to do something to stop what Penko's been able to achieve in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, just to be clear, you're scoring it 2-0 for Chiara Penko.
2018 easy for Penko.
I'll ask you tougher questions this evening, John.
I would rather you not.
We'll keep it simple. That's how we like it.
I like when it's simple.
Well, Lanchana Green was looked at there by the doctor. She showed great bravery and technique as well, ultimately, just to hang on at the end of that second round. But well, she's got her hands full now. Still falling short with her punches. She needs something massive, you feel, to turn this round.
Well, you just look at her in her style. I want you to take a look at when she's coming forward and throwing. You can see that she's not extending at the same distance that she was in the beginning of the fight, which is telling you she's taking those shots and now she's worried about getting hit with those shots. So she's thinking more about getting her hands back than putting them on target.
The sense now, as we head for the final 4 minutes, that Penko can do this any way she wants. She can just dominate on the feet behind that jab, throwing those hooks, those straight right hands as well, or she could be active and look for the finish.
Penko going to the body with the left hook, up to the head with the right hand. She's keeping Lanchana Green very confused as far as where she's going to attack.
There from Lanchana Green. Good as well, though, to catch the kick, but she wants her on her feet.
People will look at that right there and they'll go, oh, she just put it, let her go right now. Falling on your back like that doesn't feel good. It's still something that affects you in the fight.
The footwork again from Penko. She's up against a tired fighter here now.
Well, a tired fighter because Green has taken a lot of shots in this fight so far. Every one of those is just punching a hole in your gas tank. It's just every bit diminishes you just another step down. It's not an easy thing to take. Green is staying tough coming forward.
She lost against, as was, Danny Nealon on a Bellator debut, Chiara Penko, but comes back with a couple of victories since. Going to get another one here unless there's a really dramatic turnaround. to be careful now. A lot of time to take huge risks. If the finish is there, Penko can look for it. Been impressed by her accuracy, though, in general.
Been very accurate throughout this, and I always say, don't back off. If you've been successful in not really being hit that often by your opponent being offensive, why are you going to change it up? Continue doing what you're doing.
Lanchana Green has trained so hard for this opportunity. She said that she was looking forward to the pizza and Prosecco afterwards. It's getting ever closer. It's not going to be as enjoyable as she would have hoped, I don't think. There's that spearing jab again from Beastie Barbie.
You can take a look at those strike stats, looking at almost 100 punches landed by Penko. That's double what we've gotten out of Green. Nice low kick by Green there. A beautiful jab again by Penko.
She does some things very well, Lanchana Green. It's just putting them together, isn't it? There's a good right hand from her. She's got a lot of fans in here, and they're starting to cheer now.
That was a great right hand, and that definitely got the attention of Penko. That's why she's on her bike, starting to circle away.
Big booming right hands there from Lanchana Green, and kick as well from her. You can hear her corner just throw everything at her. Another right hand. Is she maybe doing enough to steal the round? Well, Penko finally does look for the takedown. Just to make a point.
Why put yourself in that position where someone is now starting to actually land and land cleanly? Take her out of the ability to do that. That's what Penko did.
Very good fight.
Yeah, we learned a lot, I think,
ladies,
about both fighters. A lot of people were interested to see how Kiara Penko was developing. Fight number 10 for her here. Looks like it's going to be win number 7. That was impressive at times.
That was a very good overall performance. You got to give it to both of these women. Penko was just on mark with her accuracy, the range. She picked it up right away. Green came on in the end, was starting to land some good shots. Take a look. This is the 3rd round here. Penko lands a beautiful straight right hand. Green comes back, but a little bit off as far as the distance. And then the jab straight off back from Green. Penko throws the jab, Green throws it back. But here comes, this is after she's been hit a little bit. Penko decides, I'm going to go right back to putting you on the ground. Heck with this. Smart move, smart fight, and well done by Kiara Penko.
Yeah, all smiles, Kiara Penko. Definitely a fighter to keep an eye on going forward. So much pressure in this sport to perform, to look good, to do things dramatically, I suppose, to do things impressively all the time, and come out with a really solid display like that.
Good performance.
A step forward from her, you would think. And Lanchana Green, well, particularly in that final round, she showed us a fair bit of what she's got.
Everything okay? I'm worried about a little bit of bruising on the right side of your face. No, I don't think it's a broken orbital, though. Do you think your cornea is affected? Ladies, bring it in.
Well,
here we go.
let's get to Michael C. Williams now with the verdict.
Both be proud. Here we go. Face forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first, David Leatherby, scores it 29-28, while judges Marcel Varela, Ben Cartledge both see it the same, 30-27. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Kiara Beastie Barbie Penko.
Kiara Penko gets it on all 3 cards. Let's, for the first time this evening now, hear from Josh Thompson and Aidan Power at the desk.
Thank you, Dave Farah. Always good to be here at the fight desk with my man, the two-time champion, Josh Thompson, who I know is enjoying his European adventure.
Oh, I love it here. I've always loved it here. I can't wait to come back to London. Wembley is always amazing. They treat us well. The fans treat us well. The fights are always the best.
And we have a stacked main card for you this evening. It is headlined by an intriguing clash of styles between the #1 contender, Michael Venom Page, and the #4 ranked Logan Storm Storley, who will battle for the Bellator interim welterweight title. We are live on Showtime at 4 o'clock Eastern and on BBC 3 in the UK at 9 p.m. British Standard Time. We will kick off the card with one of the standout stars from last time here in Wembley. The towering local Luke the Gent trainer is back to face his biggest opponent yet, the 6'5", big-hitting Simon Bayong from Italy. Then we say goodbye to Paul Semtex Daly. The British banger is bringing down the curtain on his stellar career against Bellator newcomer Brazil's Wendell Giacomo. Plus top 5 flyweights Denise Keelholtz and Kana Watanabe pit their judo black belt skills against each other in a high-level matchup with title tilt potential. And in our co-main event tonight, the legend Lyoto Machida is back at middleweight to take on the #4 ranked Fabian Edwards, with both men wanting to prove they are the superior striker. Josh, this is a crucial contest for both men.
Yeah, it's crucial for both of them, but it really comes down to youth versus experience. Machida's got a lot of experience against top-level competition, and Fabian Edwards has something to prove coming off 2 losses. He's highly touted amongst Bellator and all the fans in the rankings. He needs to prove tonight he belongs there with a big win over Lyoto Machida.
You happy to see Machida back at 185?
Very, very happy to see him there. You saw at the weigh-ins, look at the size. I thought Fabian Edwards was going to be the bigger fighter, but when I saw them square off, the thickness and the shoulder thickness, in terms of the body thickness as well, was all in Machida's favor.
And do you think there's extra motivation, even though Fabian Edwards didn't say it as much this week, but to beat somebody like Lyoto Machida must be huge encouragement?
He tried to play it cool. Let's be honest. When someone like Lyoto Machida steps across the cage from you, there's a lot that goes through your mind, especially when you get in there. Maybe you don't think about it through camp, but when you look across the cage and see that fighter that has all that experience, top-level competition, it starts going through your mind. So let's see how he reacts in that first round. We'll know.
All right, more on our main card shortly. Now back to the prelims.
The tail of the tape for this light heavyweight match between Lee Chadwick and Maciej Różański.
This, you got to take a look. Lee Chadwick, a brawler, a guy that really likes to get into the middle of your chest, and that's because he's got a 69.5-inch reach at the light heavyweight division. Look at that reach on his opponent. 76 inches, and he uses every bit of it.
Lee Chadwick may have become something of a gatekeeper, but he's a very, very good one. And Maciej Różański, who 1 or 2 people are saying might do what Piotr Niczelski did last week and make a real statement. Well, we're going to find out very, very shortly. Let's get to Michael C. Williams.
We welcome all those joining us tonight live right here in the UK on BBC iPlayer as we get set now here at the prelims to go to the light heavyweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 6'2", weighing in 204.8 pounds. His professional record, 13 wins, 3 losses, from Stargard, Poland, Maciej Różański. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 6 foot, weighing in 205.4 pounds, bringing a veteran professional record. He stands at 27 victories, 15 defeats, 1 draw, from Liverpool, England, Lee the Butcher Chadwick. In charge, your referee, Brian Miner.
Ready? Fight! So Różański in those blue gloves here up against Lee Chadwick. And it's worth pointing out that his team, Liverpool, who wear red, is playing in the FA Cup final across the road from here tomorrow. One of the big days of the English sporting calendar. He's determined to get a win here. And what a fiery start between the big men.
Great start. You see Lee Chadwick doing exactly what I said, closing that distance and brawling. That's his way of winning this. Brawl with him in the stand-up, get him on the ground, be in the top position. One of the things that you'll notice with Rozanski's got a very nice straight right hand, and he uses it from distance. So right now, Chadwick being in that clinch, this is good for him. Rozanski wants to keep that distance where he can touch Lee and he cannot be touched.
Chadwick already looking for those big booming hooks. Might have 14 wins via submission, but he's got 6 via stoppage as well. Rozanski on a 3-fight winning streak.
Oh, slick
shot to the body from Rozanski. Oh, Chadwick's hurt. Looks for those knees now, Rozanski.
Look, Lee's tough. He will not give up. We've watched it too many times. It's called the Butcher for a reason. And toughness is part of his game. He will get hit. He will look like, oh my God, he's gonna actually go down. He doesn't. And right there, came back very well. He needs to be very cognizant of the right hand of Rozanski, though.
And the right hand that can do damage to both chin and body. What a beautifully timed shot. Now the jab, which is finding its range early.
Rozanski's done a nice job of noticing that Lee likes to dip his head down when he comes in, and he keeps on bringing that right hand in the uppercut. Just looking to just touch him. He's not throwing it with a ton of steam, but he just wants to bring his head up.
Chadwick going for broke with those fresh air shots. Rozanski doing a good job.
Good call by Brian Miner, both flash heads coming in.
That uppercut you mentioned working well again there for Rozanski.
Smart move by Lee right here. Try to get him off his feet. Did it.
This will be a significant moment. Rozanski gets back to his feet quickly.
See him right now. This is the difference maker. If Lee can return him to the mat, that's going to say a lot about where Rozanski's at, and it's going to make Lee feel good. If he doesn't, he just worked really hard, spent a lot of energy, didn't get really anything for it.
Fight number 44 for Lee Chadwick at the age of 37. Still a lot of gas in that tank. Keeps himself in tremendous shape. Looks that takedown again here.
Rozanski digging for that underhook on the far side. Beautiful right elbow across.
Did so well to separate himself, didn't he? And he can do damage.
Nice job, and that's the strength of Lee Chadwick, because he didn't even get his hands closed there. He was able to get both legs and actually pull him up off of the cage and get his hips out. That's what got him the takedown. And here's the big difference. Look at now at what Rozanski's doing. He's not working to get himself back to his feet. He's actually accepting the position. That is not a good idea. Yeah, there's not a lot of time, but against Lee Chadwick, Lee can do a lot of damage. This is where he gets his wins, on the ground, ground and pound.
Using that head, get himself into position. Trying to disrupt Rozanski here. Doesn't have long to do it. But doing damage already here, Chadwick.
He's landed some good shots. I don't know if it's enough to make up for what occurred earlier in the rounds and everything, but Lee doing a great job of coming back in this round.
Definitely enough to make the judges think.
Absolutely. Tighten that round up.
Got Darren Morris in that corner with him. And took a lot out of Lee Chadwick. Describes himself as an old school warrior at heart, and he's already shown us that here.
Watch the uppercut. didn't really, it touched, didn't land with the power that he wanted to. That uppercut is the one that started to effectively put him back. You saw Rosansky going after him, beautiful elbow thrown. Lee was able to get a hold of him, slow him down a little bit. That was right near the end of the round before the takedown, that big elbow. And these little exchanges here, they're both slinging. Rosansky tends to land the better shots, but here comes Lee, and look what I said. Doesn't even get his hands together, but boom, pulls his hips out, brings him down to the canvas. Nice takedown by Lee Chadwick.
Hey, watch your head coming in, all right? Watch your head coming in, all right? Ready? Ready? Fight!
Well, Lee Chadwick spoke this week of always trying to focus on the negatives after his previous fight. He said that way you know you're going to improve. Quite like that way of looking at things. You've got to keep looking at the positives, of course, and improving those as well. It's not a bad starting point, though.
Lee carries a lot of muscle on his frame, but he was cutting down to 185. Oh, that was a beautiful left hook over the top by Rosansky. Lee was affected by it. That's why he shot for the takedown. But at 185, he was losing too much weight and had no gas. At 205, he can go. Still strong. He just doesn't have things like the reach that we talked about.
Rosansky's got those long, powerful levers, and he's using them well here. Great right hand from him. Again, it forced Chadwick to look for that almost lazy takedown, and Rosansky's having none of it.
Lee has got to figure out a way to not get hit by that right elbow of Rosansky. When they get in the clinch position, Rosansky keeps going right back to the well with it. Nice wrist control by Lee. He was able to get him up. There he goes again.
Done well. Done really well to recover and find that position, Chadwick. See that Rosansky's suffering. Not got much of a poker face.
No, Rosansky is feeling it, and Rosansky's getting tired. It's just the pressure that Lee keeps putting. He hasn't been able to breathe and be comfortable with the pace. Nice job of getting back to his feet. You can hear Lee Chadwick's corner saying, don't let him off, meaning don't let him off in the cage. You're winning the fight when you are in these clinch positions against the cage. In the middle, you've been getting hit by that elbow. But against the cage, they're right. He's winning these exchanges. So it's a good place for him to try to keep the fight.
This is all of that experience of 43 previous fights coming to bear on this one from Lee Chadwick. Rosansky, record of 13-3 coming into this. Chadwick has done it at this level, his 6th Bellator fight.
He was also Cage Warrior champion at middleweight for a long time. He's just a guy that he was born to fight. He's one of those guys, no matter what time period he was in, he was going to be doing something that was battling.
Been a real ebb and flow to this so far, and the flow right now is going Lee Chadwick's way, because he's being able to fight his kind of fight.
Yeah, he's trying to grab a breath right now. I don't blame him. He's looking more for that takedown. Oh, that was a little bit of a mistake there that he ends up on the bottom. Rosansky, nice job of passing that guard. It's a big difference maker for him right now. He needs to move his hips. You notice the right hand of Rosansky is trying to come around the backside and lace the right arm of Chadwick. Chadwick gives his back now.
Now it's trouble for Chadwick, who's trying to twist himself into a better position.
Well, he did that move to try to get himself up against the cage to use it as a balance point. It's a smart veteran move. But right now, you notice the hands are both locked around the body. So Rosansky's got the body lock. He can control the body of Chadwick. What Lee needs to do is try to slide his arm, dig his arm inside there to start to break that grip or work the hands.
Brian Miner there telling him to work. Looking for those knees to the thigh. I'm watching Ryan Bader from last week. Do that incremental damage. How heavy is Chadwick breathing here, I wonder? It looks like it's taken a lot out of him, but that's a good right hook from Chadwick. Both starting to tire here. Then both landing shots. Right uppercut again from Rozanski. Right hand did the damage. Right uppercut followed. Chadwick's got some chin. Wow. Well, deep breaths from Lee Chadwick, who's had to dig deep so often. He will need a big 5 minutes here.
That was a beautiful left hook by Rozanski, and that's why Lee Chadwick went for that takedown. Watch the elbow here. That's what Rozanski's been able to do multiple times in this fight. Then again, both guys plant their feet and start slinging leather. Beautiful uppercut by Rozanski. Just a tough fight.
That was a great trainer-fighter relationship there. Chadwick and Darren Morris, who trained together. And that was head-to-head, and come on, I need 5 minutes from you.
I need 5 minutes from you. And Lee's going, I know. Oh my God, that's a long time.
How are you scoring this, John?
You know, right now I got it even. I thought, you know, taking a look at that round, most of that round was won by Lee. Some good shots by Rozanski. I can see where the judges might start to tend to go his way. But Lee landed his. He did the great ground attack, had the control up against the cage, landed the dirty boxing, going with it 1-1 right now.
So it is there in front of both of them. Two relatively tight rounds. Feels as if Rozanski will be the fresher here, but who knows what Chadwick might have left. He's had to dig deep before.
But Chadwick does a really good job. Notice his head movement. He always brings his head off the center line, right there, right there. You know, which makes him, he's not an easy target. Yes, he's there in front of you. But if you're going to get into that exchange with him, you know something's going to come back at you.
Chadwick threw a right hand there, and he really pushed it out. It looked like an arm shot. That little elbow there from Chadwick might be a better idea. Still breathing heavy.
And that's one of the mistakes that, if there's mistakes that Rozanski has made in this fight, it's the position of where he's at in the cage at times. He's not circling out and getting himself more towards the center, so Chadwick cannot push him up against the fence.
One of those 3 consecutive wins for Rozanski coming into this was against Will Fleury, one of our old favorites from Dublin, beat him in Berlin via an arm triangle in the second round. Putting together a good body of work, but is that going to continue here? It's still very much in the balance.
Now Chadwick in the position where Rozanski's trying to work to get him down. Here comes that right elbow again. See right there, Rozanski needs the circle, get himself back towards the center of the cage. Every time Lee pushes forward, that was a beautiful right uppercut again. He just keeps going back to the well on that.
Yeah, that's been the shot, and he must be encouraged by, I know he's tired himself, but seeing how heavily Chadwick is breathing and how much impact these punches are having, because they're slowing him up and slowing him up.
That was the second straight right hand in a row. Landed clean. There's 3.
Chadwick is doing well to stay on his feet here. This is a tough fighting man from Liverpool. Another right hand from Rozanski. Massive shot. And again.
That's 5 right hands in a row landed by Rozanski. Lee's taking some big shots in this round.
That leg of Brzezinski, though, couldn't have enough strength really to use it. Had a little look up at the clock there, Lee Chadwick.
He did, and I don't blame him. He's also looking at his corner, who's telling me, turn him. And he's like, yeah, that takes energy. Give me a second. Nice move by Lee. Tried to change levels there. He's got his hands closed. Got the takedown. Needs to ride up a little bit higher, though. See, don't stay. Start to ride up. Try to bring your legs, get your legs involved in keeping Brzezinski on his back. There you go. This is good right now for Lee Chadwick because he's got some ground to make up.
Yeah, can he do damage from this position? Because you've got to feel Brzezinski's winning this final round. But a lot can happen in just over a minute if Chadwick has the energy and can get the position. First signs that maybe he can.
And I know that Brzezinski is exhausted right now, but he, at this point, he needs to explode and use that cage to get himself back to his feet. He cannot just sit here and allow Chadwick to maintain this position.
Chadwick surely has to be more active, doesn't he, to turn the round around.
Yeah, well, and he's got to, with that hand on the ground, all he's got to do is suck his leg in to get himself back to his feet. There he goes. Starting to push on that knee. There you go. Chadwick looking for the heel hook. Lost it.
Final 10 seconds. They both given absolutely everything. It will go to the judges. Chadwick's out on his feet. Great respect for each other. They both threw everything into that.
Both of those guys. We talk about, man, leave it all in the cage. Both of them left everything they had. Great fight. Brzezinski multiple times was able to land that right uppercut, the jab coming out, watch again the right hand. And there was a sequence where he had about almost knocked the mouthpiece of Lee out. About 5 straight right hands in a row. Beautiful. And look at Lee. What a stud. Just takes it. I'm not saying that's good, but man, it's impressive. Again, going back to the elbow, right hand. Lee Chadwick with a beard made of granite.
That is some chin. The question is, would you give the final round to Brzezinski and make it 2-1 in his favor?
I would in the end. I think, you know, those, you got to remember those 5 right hands. Those are the best shots in the round by far. They did damage, and you could see it was on mouthpiece almost come out. You could see that he dove for the takedown off the one. Look, Lee Chadwick fought a great fight. He's just in against a younger, bigger guy, maybe not a stronger guy, definitely a guy that no more heart, man, because Lee Chadwick put it all out there.
Yeah, he did. Mentioned his gatekeeper status, and I mean that fully respectfully.
Oh, totally.
Let's see if Brzezinski has a big win, and we can get up now to Michael C. Williams for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official decision from the judges' scorecards. Your first judge, Jacob Montalvo, 29-28, while judges Marcel Varela and Ben Cartridge both see it the same, 30-27. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Maciej Spartan Brzezinski.
Brzezinski goes to 14-3, 2 real warriors. What a tone we're setting tonight. Back to Aidan and Josh.
You bet, Dave. Thank you very much. Well, on our main card later here in London tonight, top flyweights face-off. We have the number 2 ranked Denise Kielholtz from the Netherlands, who's going up against the number 3 ranked Kana Watanabe from Japan. Now, Josh, they have a lot in common with them both being judo black belts, but where do they differ for you?
the speed of Denise Gilholtz with her hands and her kicks and the way she puts her combinations together, that's where they differ. Whereas Watanabe is very long, she's tall. And I think when they get into that clinch, it'll be easier for Watanabe to go ahead and hip toss her, throw her, foot sweep her, and get the fight to the ground where she wants to have it.
There's a certain intensity, and we've seen it at the weigh-in between these fighters. They both have a point to prove, and we did see that at the weigh-in.
Yeah, the weigh-in was great because Denise Gilholtz, she might be like short in stature, but she packs a mean punch, but she's got that feistiness about her. She just comes with a little bit of that swagger, that attitude that you want to see from your fighters. And Watanabe just kind of shrugged it off. But you can see the height difference right from there. I think that's going to play a big factor if Denise gets into that clinch. Whereas I think if Denise stays on the outside and slides in and slides out and let the hands go, Watanabe could be in trouble against Denise's power.
And in the bigger picture of things tonight, of course, both fighters want to win. We will have to see what happens between Juliana Velasquez and Liz Carmouche, who is the new champion. But both of those ladies tonight will believe they are next in line for a title
if
shot.
Either one of them has a dominant performance, goes out there with a vicious knockout or a great submission, I'll tell you right now, Scott Coker's in the arena. I'm sure he's watching this fight very closely.
All right, more on our main card to come here. Bellator London very shortly, but now an Irish brawler is about to make his long-awaited return to the Bellator cage.
The tail of the tape for this middleweight match between Charlie Ward and Alan Carlos.
5'11" against 6'3". Charlie Ward has got a brawling style. When he comes forward, he is devastating. We'll see if the length of Alan Carlos can keep him from doing that.
Yeah, Charlie Ward, tough man. And let's get to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight here at Bellator 281, the prelims go now to the middleweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first the blue corner. At 6'3", weighing in 189.2 pounds, his professional record 13 wins, 9 losses. By way of Salvador Bahia, Brazil, he fights out of Gothenburg, Sweden, Alan, the Brazilian Viking, Carlos. And across the cage's adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 184.8 pounds as a professional. 9 victories, 4 defeats from Mount Mellick, Ireland, relentless Charlie Ward. And the referee, again in charge of the action, Brian Miner.
You ready? You ready? Fight!
So, relentless Charlie Ward back after a bad injury in the red gloves here, and there aren't too many more appropriate nicknames in the world of mixed martial arts because he will keep coming. Aiden said the brawler, and that's exactly what he is. Tied at 6th in the Bellator records with the most knockouts with 5. And Alan Carlos, the Brazilian Viking, Brazilian but trains out of Halmstad MMA in Sweden, and he's just for the first time felt a little bit of Charlie Ward's power there.
Yeah, he did, and that's exactly. Charlie Ward always starts off trying to measure his opponent, take his time, and when he decides to go, he goes full bore, and when he lands, he does have power in his hands, and you'll see it affect his opponent. So what you need to see out of Carlos is he needs to use his footwork as Charlie comes in. Just circle off. Don't go straight back.
Boxing Charlie Ward since he was 5 years of age. His dad was the coach of the local boxing program in his hometown, Portleash in Ireland, heading out of Mount Mellick at the moment. Proper fighting man. Carlos has won 3 of his last 4, but he is not made to stand and train with Charlie Ward, and he felt the right hand there, and there's a little nod there from Charlie Ward.
Well, they both threw at that time, and they both connected, but it was Charlie's shot that definitely had the power behind it.
set something up. That's what he's got to do, because you don't go far in the Bellator cage if you just come in and brawl. You have to earn the right. One defeat in his last 7 fights, and that came against Pietro Panini, who boxed him on the outside quite beautifully.
Yeah, and that's the difference. Charlie will get into that brawling mode where he tries to land the big shot, and Panini wasn't trying to land any big shots. He was just using technical boxing to touch him. There he is. Look at Charlie going after him. That's some heavy leather being thrown.
Yeah, that was a left hook, and Carlos felt that all right. He took it pretty well.
He did a good job with it. Alan Carlos starting to get a little bit of the distance down. He's starting to feel when Charlie's rushes come in. He's starting to see the attack of Charlie, starting to read it a little bit better.
Charlie Ward is, no matter how he feints, no matter where he moves, you know he's looking to set up the right hand, and Carlos knows it too. One thing knowing it, it's another thing stopping it.
Most of the time when you see Charlie Ward in these clinch positions against the cage, he's never looking to take you down to the ground. He's looking to open up, push back a little bit, do a little bit of dirty boxing inside, separate, get some space, and then go with the big right hand.
Let's not underestimate the physical strength of Charlie Ward as well, up close like this.
Oh, Charlie's a load. Very strong. 185 was always been his weight class, though, because he was trying to go to 170, excuse me, before, and it was just too much weight for him to lose.
Well, he said that it made him ill, and he knows how important it is to feel healthy, and he feels healthy fighting at this weight.
He said this was one of his best weight cuts. He had very little weight to lose. He goes, started taking it serious, got on my diet, been in shape. I'm looking forward to showing exactly what I can do. That was a nice leg kick by Carlos.
And again, followed it up. Encouraged by that, but Charlie Ward responds.
Charlie needs to keep throwing that right hand out. When Ward is throwing the right hand, like you're seeing, the left hand, the jab out there, he will bring the right hand behind him.
Left hook from Ward.
That was a big shot by Carlos.
Carlos, yeah, caught him as he came in, and Ward was hurt there.
Ward was hurt.
Toe at the end of this first round, and Carlos stunned Charlie Ward.
No doubt about it, he had him hurt.
Still unsteady. Well, a round of feeling each other out, of Ward throwing some big shots that didn't quite land, and then it came alive in the last 15 seconds.
This was the beginning. Charlie Ward throwing some heavy leather. You see Carlos trying to get out of the way. Right hand by Charlie Ward coming over the top. Again, throws it, misses by a mile though. But it was the right hand near the end by Alan Carlos. It definitely touched Charlie on the chin, and he felt it. You saw his legs go stiff.
Ready? Ready?
6 wins in his last 7, 3 of those in round 1, Charlie Ward, and he'll have had respect there for Carlos's timing and power. I know a lot of people, because of the way that Carlos defends with his chin in the air and moves back, making himself an easy target, who thought this would be done in round 1, and Charlie Ward starts explosively at the beginning of round 2.
Single on your left side, single on your left.
Just what you're seeing right here tells you that Charlie Ward got a little bit of respect for Carlos based upon that one shot. He felt it, it stung him.
Left position and sharp. Left hip inside, Charlie.
Ward needs to stop depending so much on that right hand. His left jab is good. His left hook is good. Charlie Ward taking someone to the ground. We have a special moment right here.
Absolutely. This is a knockout specialist, but Charlie Ward trying to get into a dominant position on top and do some damage from there.
Let's get right hip to the floor. Circle right. I need you to circle to me. Let's circle right.
Feel normally that Carlos would be more comfortable here, but not necessarily comfortable with Charlie Ward lying on top of you.
No, a lot of people are going to think that Ward is not a submission guy. He is not. He doesn't have a true submission game. He's not dangerous with that, but he is dangerous with his ground and pound. He understands base, balance, how to keep himself out of bad positions, and how to just posture up at times and level with big, heavy power.
Still 3 minutes to go in the round as well, which is significant. Carlos can't just settle here.
He's trying to just hold the posture, Charlie. You saw that Ward went and landed a big right elbow, and it opened up Alan Carlos.
That's streaming from a cut on the head here of Carlos. Ward is starting to do damage now. This was a good tactic from Ward to take it to the ground. That's a really bad cut. See it there on the left side of Carlos's head, just above the left eye, I think.
There's a lot of time left in the round. And you can see right now, Carlos hasn't been able to do anything with Ward as far as looking for submissions or anything like that. Now he's been hit with some big, heavy shots. This is what we talked about. Hey, break your opponent down. All of these shots start to add up, and things just become harder and harder to do. This is a smart tactic by Charlie Ward.
And it would have had an element of surprise. It surprised us. It would certainly have surprised Carlos too. To the elbow there from Ward. I think that's what did the damage.
Oh, there was no doubt. It was the right elbow that landed that caused the cut.
And again, from Charlie Ward. Is he just starting to open Carlos up a bit more?
That cut is right at the top. See it at the hairline, up at the top. So, other than the blood flowing into his eyes, it's not a horrible cut as far as where the placement is. It's just that he's going to have to deal with the blood into his eyes. He's got to deal with Ward on top of him right now.
And Ward, another elbow lands.
Ward just continuing on with it. And notice that Ward is going to the elbow at least 80% of the time instead of punches. That's smart. Short, they're hard, they're powerful.
You don't need as much leverage, do you? You can use that body weight.
You need less space to create just as much power, if not more.
Smart this from Charlie Ward. Rocked at the end of round one. Really dominant all the way through round two, since the takedown anyway. This would have taken so much out of Carlos. We often talk about it, don't we, John? It's that cumulative damage that you do, and it will pay dividends further forward in the fight.
That's it. You're seeing it right there. Now in the half guard position.
Now, big cut from the elbow.
Let's take this, the big right elbow right there. That is a lot of weight coming down. You can see he actually grabs his head. That he felt that the moment it landed. Big shot by Charlie Ward with that elbow. Here it is again. A lot of power, and he did it multiple times throughout the round. This was a great round for Charlie Ward, based upon, take a look at what ended in the first round, how it was. Takes the fight to the ground, changes the position, and dominates the round. That's how you change the momentum of a fight.
Leave it right now. Next round. Hey. Over there. Stand right there. 2 rounds. Ready? Come on, fight.
So round 3, a lot of people didn't think it'd go this far. Charlie Ward looking for the finish, though. After a hugely dominant second round, what does Carlos have left?
We're going to find out. What Charlie Ward should be doing is use his hands to get into Carlos, change levels, and put him right back in the same position. You prove that you can stay on top of him. You can use ground and pound to damage him. Nice right hand by Carlos.
Those elbows landed. Also, you can see the danger for Ward in the stand-up for the second time from Carlos. He's doing exactly what you told him to.
That is a smart fight. You know, you got to take a look at what is your easiest route to victory. It was proved to you between the first round and the second round. Why would you go back to changing course? Stay on course, take him back down, and beat him up. Now he's in the half guard. He's even in a better position than he was during that second round for most of the round.
Peter Queally is here tonight. He and Charlie's other teammates from SPG Ireland will be enjoying Charlie fighting this way. And they'll be admiring it too.
They'll definitely be admiring the fact that Charlie, and that they will make fun of him that you took the fight to the ground. Because it is not something that Charlie Ward normally does. He likes to stand up and be the brawler. But this just shows the evolution of a guy who's been fighting for a while, but this is smart. This is the way that you should be fighting in MMA. Choose what is going to work for you and gives you the least amount of resistance in getting that win. Charlie Ward is going after it in that fashion right now.
There's always something so impressive and so admirable, and I know it's the sort of thing other fighters look at, to fighters who can adapt to a situation and deal with it in the cage, think the right way, and that's exactly what Charlie Ward has done here. Plus execute it.
Ward is really trying to figure out a way to get past the left hand. He's looking to pass. Now you see the butterfly hooks of Carlos. Ward needs to pick a side. See Carlos trying to elevate him up. See right there. That was a point where Charlie feels comfortable in the guard. He could have pushed that knee and tried to pass that knee to stay in half. He doesn't care. He likes the guard. He feels like he's doing good work from it, so goes straight back into it to land big shots again.
Well, that strength, that willpower is just breaking Carlos down gradually. Great to see Charlie Ward looking fit and healthy, and looking like he's enjoying his work.
You really do have to be impressed with the fact that he doesn't look tired at all. He continues on in a great ground and pound fashion, and you know that takes a lot of energy. He obviously was in shape for this fight.
Yeah, he's come back from a bad shoulder injury, and as you said, a weight cut that he wasn't enjoying as well. He looks like he's ready to go on to the next stage here, and he's going to double figures in the win column and move to 10-4 unless Carlos can manage to extricate himself here, which seems unlikely.
Big shots, let's go. 60 seconds, finish it, Charlie.
The only thing that I can say that you'd want to see out of Charlie Ward right now is, we know you're tired, but you've got to posture and hold that posture and lay some heavier shots down. That could lead you not having to finish these last 45 seconds.
40 seconds, Charlie Ward. 40 seconds.
Right now, Carlos is just trying to defend, just trying to survive.
Let's go. Elbow, elbow.
Yeah, there's nothing offensive coming out of Carlos towards Ward.
And Ward landing big shots there.
Big finish, let's go. Elbow.
Carlos hanging on a bit. Brian Miner's starting to have a bit of a look at this. He'll be aware of the time. It's another big elbow from Ward. And now he's starting to unload here, Charlie Ward. Carlos is going to get to the end of the fight. But Charlie Ward, a couple of little scares there. He was rocked a couple of times, but dominant on the ground and showing there's more than one way for him to win a fight.
Definitely did. That is not the normal way you see Charlie Ward win the fight. Normally it's with a big knockout shot, but he had to go to the grappling arts, had to go into the ground and pound, and did an outstanding job with it.
And big credit goes to Alan Carlos as well for his bravery and the skill, staying in a position from where he could survive. But aside from those two right hands that he landed, particularly the one towards the end of the first round, there wasn't a great deal from the Brazilian Viking.
No problem. No problem. Thank you.
It's good to see the respect between them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you. Very good to see you. I wish I had a good fight. This is a good fight. Hey, thank you, Tom. Thank you very much.
Smile on the face of John Kavanagh as well there. I'm sure he'll join in the surprise about the way that Charlie won the fight, but he'll be proud of it. And he hasn't won it yet, of course. We need to make it official.
Go.
We can do that momentarily and get to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the judges' scorecards, judges Michael Bell and Jared Villel see it the same 30-27, while Judge Jacob Montalvo scores it 30-25. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, relentless Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward is back with a win. Not how he normally does it, but impressive nonetheless. Back to Josh and Aidan.
Thank you, Dave. Well, later on this evening, we will say goodbye to one of the most gifted and powerful strikers in the sport. England's Paul Semtex Daly will lay down the gloves after 20 years of thrilling the fans by delivering some of the most explosive knockouts we have ever witnessed in the cage.
I will devour, decapitate, and destroy everybody. I'm the best knockout artist in mixed martial arts.
It's in my veins that I feel it. Look in my eyes, there's no way to conceal it. Nothing is written, bait, you can't seal it. Truth where I'm living, that place to reveal it. Heart beating fast, hard to breathe, gasp. Living in shadows, that part of me dark. Obstacles, they try and part disregard. Cause nothing can stop my advance on this path. You catching that contact, prepare for that combat.
And we are done.
This where it begins, that everything in that game that you win. Back brace for the impact.
With me, you get knocked the fuck out. Simple as that. This ain't no movie. Semtex is for real.
Who wants a KO for Christmas? You catching that contact, race for the impact.
A spectacular finish as promised from Paul Semtex.
Hey, Josh Thompson, from one fighter to another, how will you remember Paul Daly?
I'll remember him the same that most people remember him. One of the most prolific knockout artists ever in the sport of MMA. Against the top talent, all he's ever done is knock out some of the top talent in the world of MMA.
All right, well said. We will talk more about Paul Daly and indeed his 64th and final fight very shortly. But now it's time for another Englishman who's eager to impress tonight.
The tail of the tape for this featherweight match between Andrew Fisher and Attila Korkmaz.
Andrew Fisher, 36 years of age, went into training as far as coaching his team and everything. The young man in Korkmaz. We'll see who gets this done.
Let's get to Michael C. Williams.
Welcome to all those streaming tonight's prelims live on YouTube at Bellator MMA and Showtime Sports. Here in London, we go now to 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'8", weighing in 145.8 pounds. His professional record, 12 wins, 6 losses. Fighting out of Berlin, Germany, the fearless Attila Korkmaz. And across the cage, his adversary, out of the red corner, at 5'10", weighing in 145.4 pounds. As a professional, 18 victories, 8 defeats, 1 draw. From Sunderland, England, Andrew Fisher. In charge, referee Brian Miner.
You ready? You ready? Fight!
Well, Attila Korkmaz, Berlin-born to Turkish parents, with those blue gloves on, says he wants to create a hostile work environment for the whole of this featherweight division, starting here with the vastly experienced and very, very good Andrew Fisher.
Well, one of the things you're going to notice right away is Korkmaz, and that's part of the reason we had the age up there. He is the faster fighter. He's much faster than Andrew Fisher, but Andrew Fisher has a lot more experience because he stepped away from the game for a while. He's been doing this a long time, and he's very good both in the stand-up, and his ground game is outstanding.
Nickname Fearless comes from his surname. Korkmaz means fearless in Turkish, and he comes into things with that kind of attitude. Andrew Fisher runs Team Fish Tank in the northeast of England, a terrifically successful gym. He's a very well-regarded coach himself. Still wants to do things as a fighter, though. Lands a good right hand there.
That was a beautiful feint by Andrew Fisher that set up the right hand that he was able to land. And that's the kind of thing that he needs to do based upon he isn't as fast as Korkmaz, but he has all of that skill and that knowledge. Draw out the mistakes from the younger fighter.
Made his pro MMA debut in April 2007. Andrew Fisher, vast experience. Says he was never particularly popular growing up. He was what he called a nerdy kid. And suddenly, as he started to have success as a fighter, friends came out of the woodwork. There's a familiar story. I'm sure a lot of fighters at home nodding their heads at that one.
He's a nerdy kid that'll now knock you out or choke you out, so. You see the pressure that Fisher is bringing forward. Korkmaz is always starting to go backwards. He'll come with his rush, but he'll end up going backwards. Nice, heavy leg kick by Korkmaz.
He has been using those kicks in this opening round to pretty good effect, high and low. Fisher's blocked a few of them. A few have found their target. There he goes again.
That was a great high kick by Korkmaz. Fisher was unable to get both hands over there. He blocked it with the one, but you have to be very careful in that situation. That can get through.
To think a little bit with the kicks as well, Korkmaz. Very, very confident the way he's come into this, Attila Korkmaz.
On going back to that left high kick. The real thing you got to look at, let's watch Korkmaz as the fight goes on, because the pressure of Fisher will create him to have problems as far as holding his condition. You're not used to going backwards as a fighter. It takes more energy for you to go backwards than it does for you to go forward.
Fisher has been relentlessly coming forward here. You've talked about the fact that he's got an excellent ground game, Andrew Fisher. Would you like to see him looking for that?
I would love to see him look for it, but I've watched him for so long. I know that he likes to stand up. He is very technical in it. He believes in his stand-up. He believes that eventually you're going to make the mistake that he's going to catch. But if he would take Korkmaz to the ground and be in the top position, I think there's a vast difference in the skill level at that point.
A frustrating experience here against Robert Whiteford, the fight that ended with the eye poke. Just looking to put that behind him and move on. Nice and compact in his work, Fisher. It feels as if Korkmaz is burning a lot of energy here in this opening round.
I think you're exactly right, Dave. I think Korkmaz is definitely putting out a lot more energy, but he's being effective. He's landing the better shots right now.
Just wonder if Fisher's biding his time. It's a good opening round from Korkmaz. You can see the reddening on Fisher's body there. Now then, John's wish nearly came through there. Right at the end of this opening round.
But at least it makes him think about it in the next round.
So our second round here, Andrew Fisher from Sunderland in the northeast of England in those red gloves against a very, very lively, fearless Attila Korkmaz. Under the guidance of Bruno Macaco Acevedo, who's recently moved from Rio to Berlin, and he says has breathed new life into him.
Korkmaz doing a really nice job of varying his kicks, but it would be a little bit better if he would hide the kicks behind the hands at times. But he's varying his attack, down low, up high. You can see the calf, the left calf of Andrew Fisher. It is beat up already, and he has been very successful at bringing that left leg up high against Andrew Fisher on the right side, both to the body and the head.
Throws a good combination there, Korkmaz, and then followed it with a right hand, trying to match Fisher's boxing. That was a sneaky right uppercut from Fisher. So he's attacking that lead leg again, Korkmaz. Really good match this. They're both having a long look at each other. Korkmaz is the one just feel is doing the more effective work.
There's no doubt Korkmaz is in good condition because he's moved a lot. That was a heavy shot right there. He felt that. Fisher landed a clean right hand. They both came in at the same time. Fisher's had the power. Korkmaz felt it. That's why he all of a sudden was looking for that takedown.
Korkmaz is cut under the left eye as well. It's an excellent shot from Fisher. Might that just be the moment that starts to turn this around?
And this is what we talk about, Dave, all the time. One punch can make a difference in the fight. That punch has altered this fight at this point.
Now Fisher will get to work.
And that was a heavy right hand that landed on the left side of Korkmaz's face. That's what cut him open. It was a clean shot. There's a lot of time for Andrew Fisher to work on the ground right now. And Korkmaz, I'm just being honest, he's got a decent ground game, while Fisher actually has a very technical ground game. Korkmaz needs to do exactly what he's doing. Get himself back to his feet. Use that fence if he can to get himself up. Nice job by Fisher to move him, turn him, make it to where he cannot get himself up. Look at him holding the leg up.
This is the problem for Korkmaz when you're up against someone who is a very, very experienced and highly regarded MMA coach. Going to be excellent at those positions, at knowing what to do.
Just a smart fighter. Look how he's got the leg caught up in between his. He's keeping it up off the ground. That means that Korkmaz is not going to get up. Now he's looking to try to even pass or pinch down on that leg to land big elbows. Just really nice work by Fisher at this point.
Remember, this is a guy who's got 9 wins by submission. Andrew Fisher, he's excellent on the ground. He's in the process here of just turning this fight around.
He's not in the process. He has definitely turned this fight around. If you think about it, he has been dominant since that one shot landed. Now Korkmaz is at least in a position, but the one thing to think about is look at the hands of Fisher. They are wrapped around his body so he can mat return him. That's what he does.
And like a mantra, as you and Josh always say, never underestimate what this takes out of you.
Oh, this is just the grind right now. Korkmaz is working hard to try to get out of all these positions, and Fisher's just one step ahead. Just keeps on putting him in a worse position, gives him the feeling like he's going out, goes for the north-south choke. He's not going to get that, but this has been a fantastic round for Andrew Fisher.
3 wins by north-south choke for Fisher. No surprise to see him looking for that.
Take a look at the shot. That right hand right there, you saw Korkmaz even duck his head into it. That's what opened him up. Here's another angle of it right here. Right hand over the top, straight into it. He's actually coming forward into it. Intensifies the power of that shot. Big moment in the fight for Andrew Fisher. Everything changed off of that moment. That one strike changed the momentum of the fight.
Ready? Ready? Come on, fight!
So, third and final round. Attila Korkmaz in the blue gloves. Andrew Fisher from Sunderland in the red gloves. And would you score it 1-1 so far? All to play for in this third and final round?
I think this is the round. Both guys need to really go for it. I thought that Korkmaz had a very good first round. And then no doubt about Fisher winning the second round.
Korkmaz, despite the tide turning against him, is still in with every chance. He needs a moment like the one Fisher produced. Very, very busy with those kicks. There's the level change from Fisher, looking for the takedown. He's starting to fancy it on the ground.
Beautifully defended by Korkmaz. Did a nice job of off-centering him, using his arm to basically straight arm him out.
Andrew Fisher had 2 fights for Bellator, 2013 and 2014, was released, and great honesty about this fella. He said he knew he had to get better, and he went away and worked and turned things around, relishing this fresh chance.
see how the pace of the pressure by Fisher coming forward is intensified. Korkmaz is really on his bike, trying to keep at range, look for his openings. See Andrew Fisher try to run the pipe here on the single leg. Might try to switch it in either into a high crunch. No, goes to the body lock. Take that leg away. You saw him trying to bring him backside, tripping the leg out. Nice job by Korkmaz to stop that, using the cage again as another point of balance.
Korkmaz has done a good job here so far. Feeling, I think, in previous fights of his, very strong fighter, but one who can tire. And, he's been working, I think, on his cardio because he looks strong still. So we head for the final couple of minutes of the fight.
You're absolutely right. In some of his prior fights and watching him, he did get tired in the later rounds. Here, he's had a ton of pressure. Fisher has been all over him. There is nothing that shows that he is tired at this time.
Just feel that Korkmaz had to do something big. He felt that. He's paid the price.
That was a Chael Sonnen mistake right there. Same as Chael Sonnen did the spinning back fist on Anderson Silva going to the ground. Well, that just happened to Korkmaz. He's going to have a very hard time right now getting Fisher off him. Right now, Fisher in the half guard. Heavy pressure with the hips down. Korkmaz trying to use a butterfly hook to elevate his hips.
Fisher has frustrated himself, he says, in the past by just playing it a little bit safe. He's determined to go out and look for finishes.
That was a nice job by Korkmaz to look for the armbar. It wasn't there really, never had it set.
This has been another grueling fight on a grueling night so far in London.
And as you're watching this ground attack right now, and you're just seeing the little things that Andrew Fisher's doing as far as look at his hip position, look where he puts his weight, look as he drives him forward. These are all difficult things for Korkmaz to stop. Korkmaz has worked incredibly hard. He has just trying to spin out right there. Nice job. Just unable to get Fisher in a position where he can either get back to his feet or get that submission.
Well, Andrew Fisher, it's his 37th birthday on Sunday. Is it going to be one to really celebrate? It will go to the judges. What's your feeling, John?
You know, that was a great fight by both guys, but in the end, Andrew Fisher and his experience, and that's what we talked about at the very beginning. Talking about the difference of their ages, it was the experience of Andrew Fisher. Was Korkmaz going to be able to use his speed and his youth to get past that? He did in the first round, I thought, but that experience started to take over. Andrew Fisher fought a smart fight. He got the fight to the ground, hurt him in the stand-up to get that going in the second round, and then the third round went right back to it. That's why he is a tough veteran fighter.
Korkmaz will have learned plenty. 19th pro fight for him, but hasn't fought too many people of Andrew Fisher's quality. And we'll see if he's done enough. You suspect that it's Fisher's night. The night of distance fights so far in London. There's plenty for the fans who are starting to pack this place out to enjoy here, and so much, of course, still to come. And as we always say, just that fantastic respect between these fighters. Let's get now for the verdict to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we go now to your three judges: Jacob Montalvo, David Leatherby, Ben Cartledge. All see it the same, 29-28. All for the winner by unanimous decision, Andrew Fisher.
He can celebrate his birthday on Sunday. A win for Andrew Fisher. Back to the guys at the desk.
And happy birthday to him. Thank you, Dave. Well, our main card from London is inching ever closer. Another Bellator bonanza will culminate in an intriguing style matchup when hometown hero and KO king Michael Venom Page collides with All-American wrestler Logan Storm Storley for the Bellator MMA Interim Welterweight Championship. That's how we will end it, but we kick off our five-fight main card with another fan favorite from London. He is Luke the Gent trainer, and he looks to continue his impressive run at 205 against Italy's Simon Biong. Josh, Luke trainer, he's 5 fights, 5 wins, all inside the distance. So far, so good. But what improvements are you hoping to see from him tonight?
It's a lot to live up to. 5-0, all fights inside the distance. You start putting more pressure on yourself. What he's got to live up to is just continue to get better. Just continue the progress in which he's doing. I think that's exactly what he's doing. Simon Biong, all he's got to do is keep his back off the fence. Now, I know that seems easier said than done. He's got to use that lateral movement, strike on the move. I think with the lateral movement and striking on the move, it may give Luke, trainer some problems.
All right, and Simon Biong, he comes to us from Italy by way of Cameroon. Quite an interesting fella outside of the cage. A little bit like Luke Trainer. They've got very different lives when they're not fighting. So Simon Biong is a fine arts student, study of the classics and the Renaissance. And of course, Luke Trainer, when he's not doing this, he's a nanny, and he's also an ambassador for Foster Care Network in UK.
Both of these guys, it's like something you'd write a storybook about, just talking about how great they are. They're great people. Simon speaks, I think, 5 languages. Just, they're a different person outside of the cage, like you said. But when they get in there, they achieve their goals, they push the pace, and they bring action to the cage.
Self-declared savages. More on our main card shortly. Now, let's keep the prelims rolling.
The tail of the tape for this eagerly awaited lightweight match between Alfie Davis and Tim Wilde.
Both of these gentlemen are great strikers. They do it differently. Alfie Davis with a 70-inch reach. Tim Wilde, a 4-inch reach advantage. But look out for the kicks of Alfie Davis.
Can't wait for this. Let's get to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight here at the Bellator 281 prelims, we go now to 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first the blue corner at 5'11", weighing in 155.8 pounds. His professional record, 14 wins, 4 losses, from Wolverhampton, England, presenting Tim Wilde. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in the same 155.8 pounds. As a professional, he too stands at 14-4, fighting out of London, England. Introducing Alfie, the Axeman Davis. In charge, your referee, Michael Bell.
Feels like a crossroads fight, this. Tim Wilde in the blue gloves from Birmingham in the Midlands. Alfie Davis, the Londoner. The Axeman, famous for that axe kick victory that went viral. What are the routes to victory for these men?
Well, if you're looking at Alfie Davis, you're talking about the axe kick. Look, the greatest axe kick guy ever was Andy Hoog. And Alfie Davis throws it just as well. There's not a whole lot of guys that can knock somebody out with an axe kick. He's a guy that can do it. Tim Wilde, just a tenacious fighter coming forward. He's still good on the ground, but he brings a ton of pressure, and he will take a shot to give a shot. Creates a lot of good angles. This is a great matchup. The kicking game goes to Alfie Davis. The hands might be going to Tim Wilde, so it's an evenly matched fight.
And the reason I say crossroads fight is it just feels that there is great glory for the winner going forward. There are so many opportunities, and the loser will have to reset and start again. As well as domestic pride, of course.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole lot of pride going. 14-4 for both guys. They've both been fighting here in the English scene for a while, a couple times outside of it, but a lot of victories between the two.
Yeah, you notice the English commentator alongside you getting a bit excited. We've all been talking about this. Just one of those fights that's got the imagination going. The crowd are getting into it as well. There is that kicking game of Davis. Wild with a left hook that landed on the chin of Davis.
Oh, nice right hand by Davis, though.
Good aggression there from Tim Wilde, is often accused of not being aggressive enough. He's come to fight. Went for the kick to the body, which he might regret.
But that's what you know what you're going to get out of Tim Wilde. When you go after him, he's going to come back with something. And in the stand-up game, his hands, he believes in his power. He believes that he can knock anybody out. And he's got accurate shots that he throws from really beautiful angles at times. Alfie Davis is the guy you're looking at with those fantastic kicks, but you got to land them.
Real fluency about Tim Wilde striking here, which isn't always evident.
No, it's because he'll get into the brawl. But right now he's being a smart fighter. He's looking for his openings, and he's got Alfie fighting off of his back foot. That's not a good thing for Alfie Davis.
To the body there as well, Wilde. Real purpose about him. He said he feels that Davis is predictable and he's fought better. His Bellator debut at Bellator Birmingham show against Brent Primus. The go-go planter 80 seconds in. Ended up being a bit too much for Tim Wilde, and he admits that. His face was plastered on billboards in his home city. Now he feels he's better for that experience.
That's a tough one, especially when you're going against someone that has the expertise in the ground game of a Brent Primus. When you're not used to that level of a guy and what he can pull off, sometimes you don't see the attack coming, and when you do, it's too late.
Davis with a response there. One of those trademark kicks. Oh, that wasn't far away, you know.
Just a little bit off.
Davis driving Tim Wilde back to the fence.
A little bit of a cut on the forehead of Tim Wilde. Oh, he grabbed the fence. That changed that fight. That.
You grabbed it, brother. You grabbed it. Go to that picture corner.
Absolutely. That is a good call by Mike Bell, the referee. That grab changed the course of that takedown. He was going down, and the grab of the fence, he can sit there and say anything he wants. He grabbed it. We'll show it to you again. But he definitely grabbed it. That's why that point was taken. It's the right thing to do.
Don't forget, folks, a point taken off in a 3-round MMA fight is massive.
Yeah, because you're taking a look at a round that Tim Wilde is winning, and now the best he can do is come out even.
And you can take great solace from the way he's performed in the round. Davis is getting closer with those kicks.
Yes, he is.
Blood to the mouth of Wilde. Good opening round.
And let's take a look. When he says his hand was stuck, no, that's called grabbing the cage. He grabbed it. Not that he mentally even thought about it, but it just happens as you know you're getting elevated and your weight is coming up. You feel it and you instinctively reach out. Not saying he did it on purpose, but it doesn't matter. It occurred. It changed the course of that takedown. He was going to end up on the ground. Doesn't mean he wouldn't have gotten up, but that point taking is the right thing to do.
Ready, go.
So still blood to the mouth of Tim Wilde. How are you scoring that opening round then, John?
You know, I thought Tim Wilde won the round, but since the point was taken, I have this fight even right now at 9-9.
Just wonder about the mindset of both men, because Wilde might have done better in the round, but Davis will almost feel as if that point deduction has given him a bit of momentum here.
It just might have. We're going to see what happens. You're seeing Tim Wilde come out pretty strong right now. And he's winging some shots.
Yeah, for someone who's been criticized for being passive, feels like a different Tim Wilde. Electrician by trade, Tim Wilde, and he's looking for fireworks here. Looking for sparks flying.
There's a bit of a buzz on everything that he's throwing, man. He is going after Davis. He wants to have a finish in this fight.
Change teams in between the Leary and Landu fights. Tim Wilde, and maybe we're going to see a different fighter now. Certainly looks fresher and sharper. He's looked really good here.
He's looked very comfortable throughout the fight for the most part. There's times when he gets a little bit out of position, but for the most part, he's been the guy determining where the range is going to be at, when the engagements occur.
Davis, though, is very, very dangerous. Previous 6 fights have gone to the judges. Wilde trying to stop that happening here. Good shot from Davis. Counter left hand, but then Wilde comes forward.
But the problem is Davis is leaning back on those shots. So that shot doesn't have as much pop on it as he would want. He's going to have to step forward with it, take the chance, just move his head off the center line as he's throwing it.
Double jab there.
Clean double jab, too. You just have the feeling, knowing Alfie Davis, that one of these spinning attacks, one of his wheel kicks, or that axe kick is going to end up touching Tim Wilde somewhere on that chin.
There has just been that sense of him getting closer and closer to that chin. Wilde will be very aware of the threat, of course. Wilde, Davis tries to set something up. Wilde is doing some good work still, but Davis is having some joy in the stand-up in this second round.
He's doing a much better job of holding his ground. Notice that he's not just moving back all the time against Tim Wilde. Now he's coming forward. That's a good sign, and he just needs to, when he decides to throw, don't pull your head back. Turn it one side to the nets. You want it coming off center line. But if you're bringing it back, you're taking some smoke off of that.
Crowd are really warming to this, and of course they love to see fighters flying through the air. Alfie Davis just got airborne there. There he goes again.
It's close.
Got the range that time, didn't he?
Yeah, that hit more off the shoulder, but it was close.
Is Tim Wilde going to outwork Alfie Davis, or is there something special coming up from Davis? This second round at the moment's a close round.
This is a very close round. Both guys have landed clean shots.
Right hand there from Wilde. His volume is still impressive. Still might be up for grabs. This going into its final 20 seconds.
Big lunging left hook by Alfie Davis. Just grazing.
Wild. There's a kick again, and he feinted the axe kick there, Davis. He was looking for it, wasn't he? Or he was thinking about it. Then the flying knee. Well, we're watching two British fighters looking towards their futures. Paul Daly is calling it a day. And there's going to be a lot of emotion here tonight, I think.
No doubt about it. That is one guy that you can look at. He came to fight every time. He gave you everything he had. He had the perfect nickname with Semtex, because if there's one thing that that man is, it was explosive.
Now, I promised you earlier on in the evening that I was only going to ask you easy questions, but I'm going to have to ask you a difficult one here. How do you score that round?
Well, it's really simple. Both guys need to win this third round based upon that first round, so it really doesn't matter. But I can see where the judges can go both ways. I thought Alfie Davis had some really good moments. Tim Wilde putting a lot of pressure, but both guys need to win this round.
Feels like you took my difficult question and made it into an easy one. I got outwitted there. Who's going to outwit who in this third and final round? Everything up for grabs. Will Tim Wilde end up regretting that point deduction? Or will it just be one of those details of history? Can Davis land one of these kicks? So many questions. Hook there from Wilde. Switches to southpaw. Tim Wilde. Looked nice and comfortable with his striking. I mentioned it in the first round, but can often look a bit stiff on his feet, but really smooth.
Boy, not tonight. He has been really moving well. Good footwork, getting himself in place. Great range control throughout.
And mixing it up like that, right to the body. Wilde has started this third round better. There is still that latent danger from Alfie Davis. Plus, this is not an easy fight to score.
No,
this has got
not.
argument written all over it at the moment. Big right hand there from Wilde.
That front kick, that push kick up the middle, that's something that Davis might want to go back to quite often in this round. Every now and then you see Tim Wilde, as he switches stance, he gets square, and he's got an open guard, so that front kick can just right up the middle, split the guard.
Davis closing the distance now. Halfway through our third and final round. Work there from Wilde. Just an ebb and flow about it, a to and fro.
Both guys having their moments where they decide to come forward, be offensive. Clean kick to the body by Davis.
Davis, as the saying goes, is a really good hammer. He can be a pretty bad nail, though, if he's getting touched by an opponent. And that's what's happened here, but Wilde, the moment went to the canvas there.
I don't know if it was so much the power of the shot or being off balance.
They're exchanging now. I think they both still feel that they need to grab a hold of this fight. Certainly they feel it's there to be won.
have to figure out how much it's going to stick in the judges' minds. That was a clean left hook over the top. How much it's going to stick in their minds that Wild did go down. Now, he did get hit, but he was off balance, and that's really what led to it.
Davis has landed a couple of eye-catching shots in this final round. You'd still argue Wild maybe's had the volume. Final minute. Can someone definitively alter the course of this fight? Standard exchange. This is what they came to see.
And that was a nice, clean shot that opened up a cut under the eye of Tim Wild.
Davis again missed by a whisker.
Davis starting to take a little bit of control of the round. He's landed the better shots overall. Just like when he knocked him down, even though that wasn't a real power shot, it still put him down. That's going to leave an impression with the judges.
Wild made Davis miss there. Wild looking for a big shot to stick in the judges' minds at the end of the fight. They've come to entertain, they came to fight. Oh, you'd watch that again. Terrific fight, Tim Wild and Alfie Davis. But now the question is, does that point deduction decide the fight?
That point deduction might be big in this fight. This was the knockdown. You see that left hand did hit, but it was more he was off balance instead of it being something that really hurt him. It hit him upside the temple. You see his feet were already kind of twisted, but it put him on the ground. It was a nice flurry by Alfie Davis. Beautiful right hand double. Left jab. Alfie Davis had his moments where his offense was outstanding in the third round. Great fight by both men. Tim Wild looked great. The best I've ever seen him look in the stand-up.
They both have 6 wins by decision in their career. And the nature of it, the Birmingham against London thing, that if it does go Davis's way, the frustration of the point deduction, all of that maybe leads us towards them doing it again.
Well, let's be honest, we might have a draw here. You have that point deduction, that might be a big difference. And the draw could definitely happen with, you know, both guys winning 1 round.
Well, they're fired up. As we always say, the longer it takes Michael to come back into the cage, the closer you always feel it is.
Tim Wild, as you look at him right now, that's a man that's been in a fight. He's got a big cut on his shin that's bleeding down onto his foot, bleeding out of his nose, out of his mouth, but happy with his performance. He looks great.
Oh, it's good to see this. It's really good to see. They know they put on a good show. They know they've been in a very, very close fight. And we are going to find out which way it's gone. Let's get to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 non-stop rounds of action, we go to your judges' scorecards. Your first judge at cage side, Jacob Montalvo, scores the fight 29-27. He sees the fight for Davis. That scorecard, however, overruled by judges Jaron Villel and David Leatherby, scoring it even 28-28. We have a majority draw.
So frustrating for both fighters. The point deduction did cost him the fight. A draw between Wild and Davis. Back to the desk.
Well, 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 will they do it again? I can tell you another Englishman who doesn't plan on doing it again is Paul Semtex Daly, because he is planning to make the walk for the 64th and final time to the cage tonight. It is his retirement fight, and his final opponent will be Brazil's Wendell Giacomo. He comes from Brazil. He's 9-2 from the Pitbull Brothers camp. What can we expect to see from him, Josh, on his Bellator debut?
You can expect to see very similar things from him that you see from the Pitbull brothers. He will bite down on his mouthpiece and let it fly when he gets hit or when he feels like he's being pressured into positions he doesn't want to fight in. He will just sit, plant his feet, and let it go. That is who he is. Now, Paul Daly, though, is expecting that. He understands that. He has always expected that from his opponents. He will put pressure on everyone and let his left hook do the business. I'm telling you guys right now, and everyone should know this, he has got the best left hook in the business, and it finds its mark every single time he's in the cage. And majority of the time, it ends with a knockout. And when he touches you, he just continues to throw it and let it go. Lorenz Larkin found out, okay? Sadawad found out. Everyone continues to find out when they step into that cage with him. Sabaho Masi, in the second round, found out, but they went after each other in the first round. Paul Daly is a savage. That is why everyone comes out to watch him fight.
All right, we really look forward to that on our main card tonight. More on that shortly, but now, more prelim action.
The tail of the tape for this welterweight match between Oliver Enkamp and Mark Lemminger.
76.5 over 70. That's a 6.5-inch reach advantage. Oliver Enkamp very good at the stand-up, very good on the ground. This is a great matchup.
Let's get to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight here in London, Bellator 281 goes now to the welterweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 170.2 pounds. His professional record, 12 wins, 4 losses. He fights out of Madison, Wisconsin, USA, Mark Lemminger. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6 foot, weighing in 168.8 pounds. As a professional, 10 victories, 3 defeats from Stockholm, Sweden, presenting Oliver Enkamp. In charge, your referee, Jacob Montalvo.
Like, they both had their moments in there, dude.
So Oliver Enkamp, the Swede, in those red gloves, up against Mark Lemminger, already looking to land big shots. And Lemminger trying to follow the game plan of Kyle Crutchmer of Bellator 272. Won a unanimous decision against Enkamp. Can Lemminger do likewise?
Well, he saw the blueprint by Kyle, and that was a use your wrestling, get into him. But Oliver Enkamp is very good on the ground. His stand-up is dynamic, and if he's in the top position here, you see Lemminger looking for that guillotine choke.
He's got his head up. Yeah, I'll be looking to make my own variation at home for sure.
Enkamp just under a little bit of pressure early on here. Lemminger laid-back character and trying to bring that into the cage here.
Lemminger, a very good wrestler, solid. But Enkamp is the guy, if you're looking at who's got the dynamic style, he's the guy that's got all the submissions. He's the guy that's got the stand-up that he can vary his attack. Lemminger can definitely slow Enkamp down and get the win using his wrestling, but he's going to have to be in a position with, not like we're seeing right here, with his back against the fence is not good for him. He needs to switch this around. Put Enkamp's back there. Enkamp actually going for the takedown. Nice job. Look where he's holding that ankle. That's going to control the ability of Lemminger to get back to his feet.
Says that he's creative, dynamic, and unpredictable, Oliver Enkamp. I think he's all of those things, and he's produced some stunning moments already. The spinning back fist against Lewis Long was the standout moment in Dublin.
Great job by Mark Lemminger to get back to his feet. Enkamp not giving up on this. Enkamp actually out-wrestling the wrestler in Lemminger.
Lemminger wrestled in the second grade, wrestled all the way through high school. Squeeze here on Encamp.
Well, he's got the squeeze, but he doesn't have the position, and that's the real difference. You can see the hand. It's not that it's not tight. It's tight. But you see that hand that with Encamp, that's keeping him from being in danger. That's keeping that pressure from being so tight that he can't keep it. And now, what are the arms of Leminger, who just squeezed really hard in a position you go, don't go all out on that. He just squeezed really hard, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him now to move and do the same types of things because his arms are going to start to fill with lactic acid.
Encamp's an interesting character, loves to test himself in different martial arts, travels the world to do it as well. He's trying to currently out-wrestle the wrestler.
Right now, he's doing it. You know, and if you go back to that, you know, like we were talking about, the blueprint by Kyle Crutchmer. Kyle Crutchmer is an outstanding wrestler out of Oklahoma State. Encamp keeps on putting his head in that position. It's a little bit different. You see the leg over the top or gets the full guard. He has the ability to at least engage his hips and legs, but Encamp pops the head out.
He's fighting his second US wrestler in a row here, Encamp. It almost feels as if he's determined to prove a point that he's learned from those mistakes.
It's almost exactly it. It's like, you know what, I got out wrestled. Okay, I'm going to prove that's not going to happen again. Now, Leminger's done a great job of not absorbing any real damage in this. What Encamp needs to do, he's been winning the position, but now he needs to start doing some damage to show the judges, hey, I'm not only winning the position, I'm winning the fight.
Now Encamp's had enough of that, trying to do damage on his feet. Again, Leminger looking for the position here.
Yeah, but right now, that was tighter. You saw him actually turning to his side. When you see someone turning to their side in a guillotine, it's telling you it's tight.
Up kick then from Leminger. Encamp stayed there a little bit too long. Tap. Over here. Tap. It's okay. We're gonna catch him on this nice breath. Throw that high elbow down. Hey, continue to enter on the angle. Great job with that angle. Notice where his stance is, right? Continue to hit that backside. Push him against that cage. Change levels if you need to. Good positioning with that with your head right off the back. You're gonna start throwing elbows and knees. Seconds out. So into round two, Oliver Encamp, tall Swede in those red gloves here, does not want to succumb to another US wrestling. Oh, by a right hand from Leminger. Encamp wrestling, Leminger striking with success. The world turns on its head here in the Bellator cage.
Leminger's still working for that, trying to get to the top position. Now he's got it. Good scramble by Leminger not to end up on the bottom. Needs to be careful of losing this position right here. He's getting a little bit high.
Leminger is talking with real confidence to his corner. The end of the first round.
Encamp needs to just start to just wiggle his way out. Slowly just start to move. That's him popping out.
Targeting that neck again. to create some distance and try to do some damage, but he's the one being pulled. He's being beaten up at the moment here by Lemminger, who lands an uppercut. Enkamp still looks shaky.
Lemminger hit him with a good right hand.
Now Lemminger piling on the pressure. I'm not sure Enkamp recovered from the right hand at the start of the round.
I agree with you. I think Lemminger is in a position where he hurt him. Enkamp has not been able to recover completely from it. Now he's underneath Lemminger. We'll see what Mark Lemminger can do with this position.
Do feel that he needs to make the most of it. Enkamp, head maybe still fuzzy here.
Lemminger looking for an arm triangle. I'd like to see Lemminger drop his hip down. He can't do that based upon the leg of Enkamp. Now Enkamp's got him in full guard. That makes it a very difficult choke to be able to work because you just can't create the angle that puts the pressure on the carotid artery and makes you go out.
You can see how confident Enkamp was in the position when he gave the referee a thumbs up from that bottom position. Good idea there from Lemminger, just to use that elbow, trying to create some pressure from the top.
Enkamp going to a mission control, using the rubber guard here. Nice work by Mark Lemminger to get past the legs. See Enkamp using that shield inside, but Lemminger's in a great position to do damage or pass to side control.
Lemminger says that he was going into this fight, as he says, careless. And he says, I'm a dangerous fighter when I don't care. Not worried about risk. Not too worried anyway. Final minute of this second round.
Lemminger using that half guard position right up on him, put a lot of pressure with his shoulder into Enkamp, smashing him down there.
Three submission wins, Lemminger, but we know that this is his strength.
This is exactly the fight that Mark Lemminger wanted. He needed to be in a position where he was able to get top position and use his ground and pound on Enkamp. He's been doing that most of this round.
And he hurt Enkamp with a couple of right hands, and Enkamp never quite recovered in this second round. It's all going Lemminger's way at the moment.
This was the shot. That right uppercut, that landed, and then that right overhand just blasted Enkamp. That was the difference maker at the start of this round. There's the uppercut, there's the right hand. Enkamp was in trouble at that moment. And then even later on, when you thought he was possibly back, he lands a shot, that left hook and right hand. Enkamp's in trouble again. Big shots by Mark Lemminger, a beautiful round.
So third and final round. Oliver Enkamp, regarded as a real prospect. And he's in trouble again here against a wrestler. How have you got it, John?
Right now, I've got this fight at even. But Lemminger is in that position, looking for the buggy choke. He's got him locked up. It is not an easy position to get out of. There it is.
Just like that. Turns it round. Just that little touch of brilliance was enough.
This is what we were talking about when we said so many ways for him to win. Look at what happens here. He goes for the spinning heel kick. He gets caught, but right away takes the leg, sticks it over, and then locks up a buggy choke here. He has that tight. That side control position is not good when you have those legs wrapped here. Big time submission win for Oliver Enkamp.
And what was looking like a struggle suddenly looks like a statement. He is improving, he is learning, and that great variety that he brings to his work in the end is what gets him the win.
Beautiful, beautiful submission attack by Oliver Enkamp. You thought he was in trouble, not in a good position, still able to use that brain, work his way into that choke. Awesome. Come from behind, get yourself out of trouble victory for Oliver Enkamp.
Well, we wait to make it official here. He'll be so disappointed, Lemminger. You could just see it from his reaction. He knew he was winning the fight potentially, but let's make it official with Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes officially 25 seconds into round number 3. The winner by submission, Oliver Enkamp.
Oliver Enkamp then with a brilliant turnaround submission win and back to the desk.
Thank you, Dave. Ultra impressive. Right, we are looking ahead to our co-main event in London tonight between Birmingham's Fabian the Assassin Edwards and Lyoto the Dragon Machida from Brazil. Both looking to re-establish themselves in the middleweight conversation. Josh, for Fabian Edwards, it's been a frustrating couple of years, but I guess he could make that all feel like a bad dream if he gets the win tonight. But the big question is, how does he get back to being that guy who went 9-0?
Well, he said it in the fighter meetings this week. He talked about it. He goes, look, I got to go out there and remember of who I was in those first fights. I got to remember that I was out there to finish people. I was out there to put on a performance. I was out there to win. His last 2 fights, he said, I was just going through the motions and trying not to lose. Just trying to carry on, just slowly working his way up the rankings. Instead of doing that, he said he's coming out to put on a show.
And Machida, of course, is a former world champion. He's back to 185. He has such a unique style. What are his ways to win tonight, Josh?
I can tell you he can win in all different ways. It's the experience that he brings to the cage that I think is going to be the biggest factor. The speed is there, the flying knees are there, the way he moves in and out of range, judging distance. He judges distance better than almost any fighter that's ever stepped into a cage. Lyoto Machida, they call him the Dragon for the reason he has that Bruce Lee style of just judging the distance and letting the strikes go when the opportunities present themselves.
It promises to be a great co-main event. More in our main event shortly, but now more prelim action.
The tail of the tape for this flyweight match between Kate Jackson and Elena Kalionidou.
Big difference in age there. Look how young Elena is, but Kate Jackson with a ton of experience in the prime of her career.
Let's get now to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight here at Bellator 281, the prelims go to the flyweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 5'5", weighing in 125.8 pounds. Her professional record: 8 victories, 4 losses. From Pervasa, Greece, Elena Gunher Kalionidou. And across the cage, her adversary out of the red corner at 5'6", weighing in 125.6 pounds. The former world title challenger as a professional, brings 11 wins, 5 defeats, 1 draw. From Plymouth, England, presenting Kate Jackson. In charge, your referee, Michael Bell.
round. You ready, Elena? Ready, Kate? Go.
So Kate Jackson in those red gloves against Elena Kalionidou from Greece. Kate Jackson, in her first fight camp, she says, with just one team and one set of coaches, it's made a huge difference to her. Had a couple of really confidence-draining, damaging defeats, and she looks to get back into her rhythm and do some damage. But Kalionidou, she says, is a changed fighter, learning all the time.
Yeah, Kalionidou is, now she has confidence. You can watch when she was first starting to fight, the confidence wasn't there, but she's starting to believe in herself. But she's in against a real veteran in Kate Jackson, and someone who on the ground, which she's looking to take this fight to now, has got unbelievable pressure, great submissions. Nice job by Elena Kalionidou to turn that around.
She says she's got a strong soul in the cage, Kalionidou. Nothing quite like the incredible feeling she has when she's in there. She's been matched very, very tough and almost just dropped down and tried to re-establish herself. But this is a very, very tough ask for her. The question many were asking beforehand, is Kalionidou better than Jackson anywhere? And that's a problem if she isn't.
Well, if there's one thing that she is, she's, like we said, her confidence, she's believing in herself. Her ground game is good. And it's a matter of believing in yourself. Believing, I don't have to win every second of the fight. I just have to do what I do best. Put my opponent in bad positions at times and work hard. One thing that you've seen when we watched the weigh-ins, it was, you could see the body transformation and how she is just getting in better and better shape, which just goes to the fact you can tell she's training hard. Nice block of that, going for the knee bar. Looking for a toe hold now.
A really impressive start from Kalionidou.
Yeah, Kalionidou now looking towards that heel hook. She still doesn't have the legs in position.
Keep an arc in that elbow.
This is where it gets tricky. When you're Kalionidou, you start to turn your back in a leg lock position. If you don't get it, you're in a bad spot to be hit with a lot of hard shots, hammer fists, and now Kate Jackson is in the top position.
This is where she wants to be.
Kalionidou still has that leg entwined, so she still has the ability to switch this into a leg lock position. But Kate using a lot of weight, a lot of pressure, keeping her down. Yeah, now all that leg lock attempt is gone.
Now it's Kate Jackson with a chance maybe to show some authority here.
Well, this is Kate Jackson's game. Her strength is being on top, on the ground, the pressure that she's able to generate. She just continues to slowly work her way to a better position to the point she puts you in checkmate with a submission.
And nice, it's a good shot there, but again, Kalionidou.
You got to be impressed with Kalionidou. She is in this fight. She's in it to win it. She's going after Kate. Kate Jackson working hard with the butterfly hooks.
Got to remember, this is someone, Kalionidou, made her pro MMA debut December 2014, just past their 16th birthday. They'd only begun training a year earlier than that. Got into it to stay in shape and has taken it really more and more seriously.
Get your toes out of the cage, Elena.
Beautiful reversal by Kate Jackson. Use the underhook, get herself back to her knees, brings Kalionidou to her back. It's been back and forth. Great work by both ladies.
Well, we've seen a vast improvement here in Elina Kalionidou. Kate Jackson's got her hands full here as we reach the end of round 1.
Time.
Good. Took her best game. Did an excellent job. Just watch the pressure on the top, yeah? No drop top, watch the pressure. It's pretty good at the head roll. Yeah. Just stay on the hips. Just all spike on the shot.
Kate Jackson now has the experienced voice of Kenny Baker in her corner, and she was listening intently there. One of the real old figures of mixed martial arts in the UK. She was stung by that combination from Elina Kalionidou, though.
Kalionidou really throwing beautiful combinations, good footwork, controlling the range, using her speed advantage right now.
Kate Jackson, of course, badly damaged by Denise Kielholtz, and you wonder if the ghosts of that fight are maybe still with her a little bit. There's a poise, though, about Kalionidou. We all noticed it at the weigh-in, the shape she looked at. The work she's obviously done, and she's come here and she means business. But Jackson with the takedown.
And you saw that was a beautiful combination with her hands. She just got a little too deep, allowing Kate to get in on the takedown. But she's been able to reverse the position a couple of times. We'll see what happens now from here, but she has been effective in being able to stifle everything that Kate Jackson wants to do on the ground. Using a lot of strength there, but unable to get herself out of the position. She needs to just be very careful right now. Great job. She had the ability to lose the position, actually have her back taken, turned herself, realized where she was at, and now has Kate Jackson on her back.
Landed that shot there, Kalionidou, but Jackson springing to her feet and getting the takedown.
They are back and forth in this. It has been great. Kate Jackson going to get to the mount here.
It's been a real slow build, this fight, warming up nicely.
Kalionidou going to come out the back door.
Looking for the escape again.
Almost. Great job by Kate Jackson to hold the position. She's going to go over again. Kalionidou really showing she's just physically stronger, which is surprising because Kate Jackson is strong. We've seen her in a lot of fights up against fighters like Joanna and Jacek and everything. She is a strong individual. But Kalionidou has basically muscled her way out at times of certain positions. Very impressive. A lot of energy burn on that, but she keeps on coming forward. And her boxing looks so much better now.
Another combination. Jackson again looks for the takedown. That time there was more of a sense of panic about it. I think she was caught a couple of times there. Just wonder if Kalionidou's taken Jackson a bit by surprise here.
Again, able to reverse the position. This was a big step up in competition. for Calianadu, and she has performed beautifully throughout. In the stand-up, she's the one landing the cleaner strikes. On the ground, it's been back and forth. A lot of good work by both ladies.
Don't grab it.
Needs to be careful, Calianadu.
She needs to turn and walk her way out of that. There you go.
And she lands that. A big shot. She's done that a couple of times. She's got this ability to find the target from quite awkward positions, Calianadu. Real elasticity about what she's doing, and here she goes again.
Beautiful ground and pound attack. Big shots.
Be careful with those up kicks.
Calianadu landing heavy ground and pound now.
Now she believes she can find the finish, Calianadu. What a performance this is, right at the end of the second round. There is one life-changing performance right there for Alina Calianadu, and look how much it means. That was spectacular.
That was such an impressive performance. We talked about it at the weigh-ins. We said, man, she looks in great condition. She looks different. She's been doing something that you can see the work that she's put in, and it absolutely paid off in the cage. This is when it went to the cage. You saw Kate taking a beautiful backside takedown, puts her on her back, but Calianadu did not settle for anything. She reversed the positions, and then when she got to the top and started landing heavy ground and pound, there was no ability for Kate to stop the posture, no ability in the end for Kate to stop the shots, and that's why the fight was stopped. Big time win for Calianadu.
Huge win. Let's get to Michael C. to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end officially. 4 minutes, 53 seconds. Round number 2, the winner by TKO, Elina Gunner Calianadu.
What a win for her, Elina Calianadu. Let's get back to the desk now with Josh and Abe.
Thank you very much, Dave. Things really livening up here at the OVO Arena, Wembley. Let's talk about our main event, because the roof is going to come off when Michael Venom Page makes the walk in what will be the biggest night of his career as he looks to stop the 4-time All-American wrestler Logan Storley and claim the interim Bellator welterweight title. Everyone here and watching who's a fan of Michael Venom Page will expect another episode of MVP TV. How can he deliver it tonight?
They should expect that, because he's delivered it so many times, time and time again. He does it. He loves to do it here in his arena, here in Wembley and London area, where his fans can watch and enjoy it. What should they expect? More MVP. That's exactly what they should expect. In and out, big power shots, keeping the distance, high-flying action.
Well, Logan Storley, he brings the credentialed wrestling ability. What can he do that others have failed to do?
He can do a lot. So what it comes down to is, he said it very clearly. MVP has never faced a wrestler like him. Okay, this is the point where if Logan Storley gets in on a leg, MVP will go down. Now the question is, can he get back up? Will he be able to fight off the submission attempts while he's getting up? The ground and pound will be vicious from Logan Storley, and the wrestling will be on point.
There are so many questions that will be answered here in London tonight. Now it is time for a final prelim.
The tail of the tape then for this featherweight match between Daniel Weichel and Robert Whiteford.
You can see close in age, big difference in how many fights they've had. This should be a great matchup.
Let's get to Michael C. Williams.
We thank all those that have joined us tonight on BBC iPlayer as we conclude the prelims now with 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'9", weighing in 145.8 pounds. His professional record, 16 wins, 4 losses out of Farmhouse, Scotland, Robert the Hammer Whiteford. And across the cage, his adversary Storley out of the red corner. At 5'10", weighing in 145.2 pounds, the two-time world title challenger stands with 41 professional victories, 13 defeats. Out of Frankfurt, Germany, Daniel Drake Weichel. In charge, referee Jaron Villel.
On my cue, gentlemen. Fighter, fighter, fight!
Well, keenly anticipated this fight number 55 for the remarkable Daniel Weichel in those red gloves. Robert Whiteford, the Scot, who's teak tough and we know can land shots as well. Saw that great turnaround win against Sam Sicilia. This could be a cagey affair, if you excuse the pun, because these two know the game inside out.
Both outstanding fighters. Weichel, so much experience, has been in the cage against so many veteran fighters, has had some great performances. Whiteford, great wrestling. Tough, as you said, tough as teak. He is unbelievable in what he can accept and come back with and do damage and get the win.
See Whiteford at Southpaw stance, very, very slippery. And switch, that was a good shot from Weichel. Whiteford's hurt. Stop. Weichel called it off. He stopped it. Referee jumped in. Weichel with only his 6th win by KO or TKO. It'll be controversial. Whiteford is disappointed again inside this cage, and Weichel gets a dramatic early stoppage that we couldn't have seen coming.
Yeah, take a look at what occurs here. He does get rocked. Right there, he's hurt. That uppercut really buzzing. He gets hurt again, but you gotta let him fight through that. Did not go down. That was a tough moment, and I can understand why the referee stopped it. But Robert Whiteford is a veteran fighter who's been in these types of situations before. He's trying to grab hold. That's a smart move by him at that time. And so it is a great win for Daniel Weichel, but a tough loss for Robert Whiteford.
Yeah, Whiteford even says that he's got that dog in him that some are born with, and he's proved it before. And feels like a shame for him, of all people, to be stopped like that.
But you can't take it away from Daniel Weichel. Daniel Weichel did exactly what he was supposed to do, landed the big shots, went after him, and got the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we always say, I hate to throw cliches out there, but this one happens to be true. It is always better too early than too late.
Yeah, it
always.
is.
Well, still an element of shock all around the place. After that, Weichel with the win. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 1 minute, 12 seconds, round number 1. The winner by knockout, Daniel Drake Weichel.
Weichel then gets the win. Hands up if you saw it coming like that. Let's get back to the fight, Des.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dave. A timely win from Daniel Weichel. Just to remind everyone, in 145, he ain't going anywhere just yet. Do you sense, Josh, he carried some of the frustration of the loss against Pedro Carvalho in Dublin a few months back into this one?
Absolutely. You could see the intensity, the way he was walking around all week. The look in his eyes was that he had to get it back. He had to get back on the win track. And I got to be honest, I was listening to Big John talk it through. Look, the combination landed beautifully. Nice uppercut, flurry. Ref stepped in a little bit, but then he let him go a little bit and was able to turn the corner. Whiteford wasn't able to stay on his feet. That was enough for the ref to say, Daniel Weichel back in the win column.
Impressive stuff. Win number 42, and many more to come from the German. And lots more to come here at Bellator 281 in London. Our main card is on deck. We have 5 fights coming for you. We kick it off with light heavyweight savages. The unbeaten Luke the Gent trainer facing his biggest opponent yet, the 6'5", big hitting Simon Biong from Italy. The British banger Paul Daly aiming to go out with a bang as he brings his explosive career to an end against Bellator newcomer Wendell Giacomo from Brazil. We've also got top 5 flyweights, Denise Keelholtz and Kana Watanabe pitting their judo black belt skills against each other in a high-level matchup with title tilt implications. And in our co-main event, MMA legend Lyoto Machida is back at middleweight to take on the number 4 ranked Fabian Edwards, with both men wanting to prove they are the superior striker. And then styles collide as elusive striker and number 1 contender Michael Venom Page battles wrestling phenom, the number 4 ranked Logan Storm Storley, for the Bellator interim welterweight title. We are live on Showtime at 4 o'clock Eastern and on BBC 3 in the UK at 9 p.m. British Standard Time. We'll see you at the top of the hour.
The most dynamic fighter in MMA.
Just lethal.
England's own Michael Venom Page looks to strike in front of his hometown crowd. But 4-time All-American wrestler Logan Storm Storley
Incredible stuff!
continues to prove doubters wrong.
Wow!
The interim welterweight title is on the line.
Here comes the beat!
Bellator MMA, Page versus Storley, today on Showtime.
On Friday night in London, England, Michael Venom Page wants to be a champion.
I've come over, I got my redemption, now I want that bling.
After the long-awaited rematch with former champion Douglas Lima, Page proved that he was quicker.
The speed with which he closes distance is what makes him uber dangerous.
More powerful, and had learned from his mistakes.
Douglas he's not quite at 100%.
That's the 3 inches of difference and why this fight is still going on.
For the winner by split decision, MVP.
Michael Page will now fight Yaroslav Amosov for the world title.
The one and only MVP is back.
I already had an inkling that when Russia and Ukraine, the whole thing was kicking off, it's a circumstance that I don't think anybody would have foreseen or could have foreseen, or anybody's ever really been in before. For me, it's just like, I hope he's cool. I hope he's okay when he goes over there. I hope his family's good. I hope everyone's safe over there. And he's kind of back at what he does best.
With Amosov out of the fight, a new contender stepped forward in Logan Storley.
Amosov has a lot going on right now, and so we'll see how long that really sits him out. We wish him the best, but I have to take care of MVP first, and then we'll see what's after that.
In his last fight, we saw a 5-round war against one of the most established family names in all of MMA.
He and Gracie are just looking to put it on each other, knowing the stakes.
Guys, he looks absolutely amazing.
And he gets backed up by Storm.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Incredible stuff. Mamma mia, down goes Gracie.
Have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Logan Storley.
I think it opened a lot of people's eyes to what I'm capable of on my feet, throwing 400 strikes. So I think they saw definitely a different version of me that they've never seen.
And having previously fought the champion, Storley looks to avenge his only loss and claim the Bellator gold.
He knows, how difficult that fight was for both of us and how close that fight was. So I'm excited for that rematch.
On Friday night, two of the most dominant fighters in the welterweight division will do battle and get one step closer to a world championship belt.
He knows he's in for a fight. He's in with a different type of guy than he's ever fought before.
And I still don't feel like Logan is anywhere near the striking level, so that's just not even going to be a martial arts conversation in the cage.
With these elbows from top position, and referee Jason Herzog has seen enough.
So I know you have to be focused for 25 minutes when you fight him. And you have to know you're going to get frustrated and he's not going to stay in that typical fighting range.
Tune in to Bellator 281, Michael Page versus Logan Storley.
I'm going to be myself. I'm just going to be furious. I'm going to be dominating. I'm going to be exceptional. So I'm coming to be at the top. If Storley, in a alternate universe, was to be able to beat me, it's because, damn, he's really good. Because I'm amazing.
Take a look at 27.
Walkout, I call this one. Catches kick, swing it straight into the left hook, and then get the finish. He didn't want no more. You can see how he turtles and turn around. Side of one, tough guy, great guy for taking this fight last minute. He said, I'm not going to let no guy from the lower division beat me. You can see where he dropped from the power of the left hook that he probably should have stayed at left hook.
Oh, huge right hand, and we are done.
Andy Ulrich, tough guy again, stepping in, replacement fighter. He was watching the left hook, but people don't know I've also got a right hand. And you've seen how he fell. Once it lands, it's just as dangerous with the left hook.
Knee by Larkin as he exits. Oh, Daly, no! The kick by Daly! Down goes Larkin! And then it's over! Paul Daly detonates the left hook on Lorenz Larkin's face!
Lorenz Larkin, one of my biggest wins probably here at Bellator MMA. I threw the spinning back fist, didn't get out the way properly, and I unloaded with the left hook. I don't think he's ever been hit as hard as that. You can see he's frozen stiff. You need to get the follow-up shots. A fight that everybody remembers for the finish. Tough wrestler, said he was going to stand the bank. He did for a bit. Went for a clinch, arm drag to a spinning elbow.
Spinning elbow. Oh! Mary's Brennan Ward! A spectacular finish as promised from Paul Syntex Daly.
Flying switch knee finish. You will not get a better sequence than that. You get flying switch knee finishes, but a spinning elbow off an arm drag to a switch knee finish I've never seen done, ever. And I probably won't see it done again, not with this kind of devastation.
He is a showman. You will have your opinions at home about the way he goes about things, but you can't deny the skill level is off the planet.
I'm the one and only MVP. It doesn't matter who steps in the cage.
That little smile playing across his lips as well. Right hand from MVP, timed Kylie really well there. Kylie's got to keep moving. Look at this, he's just taunting him. Warning there for the referee. Speed is just blurring from Michael Venom Page. Always likes that play acting, the showmanship to go with the serious danger in there.
Like I said, there's no threat from the bottom from Kylie. So MVP, all he has to worry about is that up kick. There's nothing to worry about in the submission department right now. He can just pick and choose his shots from there. There's that up kick.
It's what he does so well, isn't it? He does pick those shots. He thinks about it. Great thinker to go with the obvious violence. And those punishing elbows now, they are finding a way through. Yeah, he's seen enough. He doesn't like it. Point off MVP. Doesn't like it. Feels it went over the line. Lack of respect. What do you think about that?
I like the ref a lot. I've worked them several times. I think sometimes you're just going to let the fighters do their thing. There's a lot of emotions that build up to fights and make good fights. And they're just in there being showmen. This is the entertainment business. I'm going to hear, I'm going to probably, when I get home, hear it from Big John what he thinks. But
just going to say, yeah. Big John will have an opinion about that. Yeah. Oh, the knee from Michael Venom Page wins him brilliantly. The fight that Kylie felt he could win. MVP with the message that he is back.
Yeah, he kept ducking his head. It was an obvious shot. You know what? This is exactly what I expected. I hardly even trained for the guy. I've been on holiday. I've been buying properties. Now it's time to go and fight in the UK, my hometown. And you know what? I want all you Irish fans to come down, man. Show up, show love, please.
Danilo said he's going to figure it out when he gets in there.
Got plenty to figure out here, Josh.
The speed and the range has already been a problem.
Always thinking Michael Venom Page, always trying to find a way. Outside leg kick from Michael Venom Page.
Danilo's making a big mistake. You can't wait for him. You cannot wait for MVP. This is what I was afraid of him trying to figure him out while he's in there.
Whose show is it? MVP, right hand, all over. He is long-levered and lethal. Just brilliant from MVP.
So what I want you to do is take a look at the big screen here. Walk us through this knockout for me, please.
Click. Click. Boom.
Realistically, it was the feints, the in and the out that kind of threw him off. When I had talked to him in the fighter meetings, he said, when I get in there, I'm going to figure him out. And I just shook my head thinking to myself, MVP's not the guy you want to figure out in there. And you showed tonight that performance. Look, there's one blemish on your record against Douglas Lima, who's the greatest welterweight in the world right now. What are we doing?
Who wants to see me fight Douglas Lima again? There's your answer. I don't want anybody else. I'm looking for one person. He has the belt. I have a lot of respect for him, but I'm going to take something back that you stole from me.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Michael Venom Page.
MVP in that familiar side stance in the red gloves. Saitama zone in the blue gloves.
Well, there's no doubt Anzai wants to get inside, get Page to the ground, and he's going to have to do something of exactly what you just saw, those kind of mad rushes in. But he's got to do it without being damaged, and the question is, can that be done?
You know, that's what he's talking about, but getting inside of that range and kickboxing ability of MVP is not easy at all.
Oh, beautiful knee by Venom Page.
Moving backwards, John.
Moving backwards. As soon as he saw that head going down, came up with it. But at least by accepting that blow, Anzai is in a position to try to get Page to the ground. And loses it.
Anzai has power.
telling you, oh, I'm confident. I understand the distance. I understand what this guy can do, and I know how to move to keep him from being successful. So when you see him start to play, it's usually a problem for his opponent.
There was a guy named Anderson who did something like that.
The same thing. And it's so, oh, again with the flying knee. And what that flying knee is telling you is Michael Page is not worried about him being taken down. It's crazy. He has fought some good people. He's fought the champ in Lima. He's fought great fighters like Paul Daly. He is not afraid to be in the cage with anybody. See Anzai trying to close distance, trying to cut him off, trying to force him towards the cage. All smart. There he goes down. Big shot. Got a cut.
Yep. Right back up, says MVP.
And that just shows that fight IQ. Whoa. No one does that.
Something magnificent may very well happen momentarily. Right on.
He has no answer for what Michael Page is doing. He is confused. You see him coming forward, and all that forward movement is because he just doesn't know what to do. So I'm trying to crush the space fast, but he's taking heavy shots in doing that.
MVP with a little stutter step.
Remember what I said about playing? There's a knee again.
Every time, John, as he's moving backwards. Unbelievable.
Remember what I said about him playing? When he's starting to play, he's comfortable. He knows, oh, I got you. Now, that doesn't mean that Anzai cannot land a shot that can hurt him. But Anzai's in trouble here. 17 seconds left.
And thus
that is a 10-8 round. He damaged his opponent. He dominated the action. Anzai didn't land.